Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Button 91. We're back again, new year, same old me. 2023, listen, welcome. Our first super panel will be talking to you guys about Ready to Love, the new season in Miami once again. I can't lie to you, I am actually enjoying the season. Can't lie to you. I don't know about you guys, but I'm fully enjoying the season. I'm invested. The first two episodes have been killer. First two episodes have been have been entertaining. The people they got, normal people, it seems like. Now don't get it twisted. I'm sure a few of them are there for the fame. But I'm seeing some normality, and I like that. I ain't gonna lie to you, okay? I'm seeing some normality. I'm seeing some, um, just everyday things. You know what I mean? So I'm enjoying it. I don't know about you guys. So listen, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like it, you share, you subscribe, you click on that bell button for notification of the what uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. Listen, we'll be having a super panel in a few minutes' time. But I wanted to give you my initial thoughts about this particular episode because there's a couple of things that were happening that we need to talk about. Okay. A couple things were happening that we need to talk about. Okay. All right. Now, Blake obviously is Blake. That's that. But I wanted to talk about this whole situation with Corvair because Corvair came out and said, "Are you spoiling the women? Are you gonna spoil me?" Corvair said, "Are you gonna spoil me?" And I wanted to talk about this because I think this is really important, right? And I say uh, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting how in this particular season, we've seen conversations around children, about homes, and now we're having conversation about finance. I want to be very, very clear. I think Corvair is within her remit once again to discuss about what she wants from a man. But I got to let you know there are rules of engagement that sometimes things happen. That I got to let you know that if you do it, you're likely to incur some issues. Okay. If you do it, you're likely to incur some issues. Having a conversation with a man very early on when you don't really know him, talking about spoil me, he can set people off the wrong way. Right? Just want to keep it, just want to keep it a buck, keep it 100. Talking about spoiling me from the very beginning. Okay, all right. And the way you deliver it again, um, is problematic. Okay. All right. When you first meet a man talking about money and doing this, you know what I mean? This ain't helping. Right? This ain't helping. And I'll say this because a lot of guys are gonna feel like they're being used. Just like women feel used for sex and their body, men feel the exact same way when it comes to their wallet. Right? Just the same way women feel some type of way about men mentioning things about sex and everything else like that, just the same way men feel some type of way when it comes to their wallet. All right. And because of her, as someone even said, her delivery, her tact, her very direct approach when it comes to this particular topic and other topics alike, it's causing her to rub up friction wise against some of these men. Listen, Corvair's a very beautiful woman, absolutely stunning, cute, nice to look at, and she's intelligent, and she has, you know, some presence about her. You know what I mean? But when you open your mouth, what comes out is so crucial because that can make or break you. We talk about this all the time on this channel. You know, we talk about our talents will get us in a room, but your attitude can kick you out. Well, your beauty is going to get you in a room, but then your attitude or how you talk or how you maneuver can get you kicked out, right? So I personally think Kaveh is a great girl. I think she's amazing. I think she could be a really great woman and partner. Just needs to just buffer the edges so she can deliver her points in a particular way. Because the conversation she had um was it wasn't Lyndon, was it this time? It was someone. Who was it this time? It was with, I can't remember who she was talking to this time. Put it in the chat if you guys remember who she was talking to at this time. And when she mentioned that conversation, you know, the word "spoil me" is what even is what actually triggered the other gentleman, right? He's like, "Wait, hold on, what?" Like, things don't need to be said. I think some things don't need to be said in a particular way, and some things don't need to be said at a particular time. Some things just need to need to also have a different way of saying certain things. Mark Anthony, thank you very much. All right. And then what she wanted, and then what she did was an almost kind of shame him for not wanting what she wanted. You know what I mean? So it's like, babe, listen, want what you want, but then you made it as if you almost made it as if the guy was a brokey. It's like, babe, so you are saying you got your standard. Fantastic, you got your standard. Then the person says, I don't really like that kind of standard for me. And then you make it out as if the guy's a brokey. And it's like that kind of attitude is the sport princess, pampered. I want to be taken care of, where I'm it's create it gives off an energy of I'm willing to take and not really give. No one's saying she has to say she cooks. No one's saying she has to say she cleans. Nobody's saying she has to do chores around the house. Nobody's saying she has to be barefoot and pregnant. What we are talking about is attitude and what it does begin to send to other people. That makes people feel like you're going to take advantage of them, right? It makes people feel like that. All right. So for me personally, with Corvea, I just want her to just to just you know, um, just to kind of just buffer the conversation a little bit. All right, just buffer. That's what I'm gonna say. I ain't saying nothing too tough. Um, that's all I'm gonna say. Um, and so my final part I want to talk about this as well. Before I start getting people on as well. By the way, if you guys want to join the conversation, let me know. I'll put the link in the chat as well for you guys to join quickly. Um, you know, to join the convo as well. I see Jason in the background. Good seeing Jay. All right, cool. And so yes, Corvair spoil me moment. I think the second part I want to talk about, which was an interesting conversation, I want to talk about Febreze, because since we're going to talk about Corvair, we need to talk about Febreze. Okay, overtly sexual. Okay, I'm gonna need sir. I don't know if they sent him on a mission. I don't know if that's what works in Europe. I'm in Europe. That don't work either. I don't know what he's talking about. But let me be very honest. Fabrice, I'm gonna need you to Fabrice. Okay, all right. I need you to chill that down. Okay, because when you come in new to the gang, people don't really know you. If you're gonna be sexual, number one, I'm gonna be very frank with you. You have to have a certain look. If you're gonna try and get away with this from the very jump, you have to have a certain look. Number one, right? Number two, let's say you don't have that look. Delivery is very important. Yeah, delivering sexual lines to people is an art. Let me be very, very clear with you. Okay, because when you deliver a sexual line, it's got to be more sensual than sexual. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you start making it sexual, it makes it about the person's body completely. And the same way I said about men feeling like they're getting taken advantage of their body, their wallet, women start feeling like they're being taken advantage of their body. Like you just there for their body. So now what you're looking like is, so someone said in the chat, you're coming off looking like a creepy old pervert, because the lines you're delivering has to be delivered in a particular way. And so if you deliver it in this particular manner that Fabrice was delivering it in, where he was consistently banging on about sit, and again, let me just say it again, you have to use certain words. Do you know why we use the word poussoir on this channel? Because when you say pussy, it sounds too hard. It sounds like a porn film. But if I say poussoir, it has a little bit of panache. It has a little something to it where we can talk about it and it's not so hard line. There are ways to deliver certain topics in a way that allow it to go over smoothly. But Fabrice came in there talking about, I'm just so happy to talk about sex. I said, Fabrice, I need you to chill, because you don't know these ladies like this. You know what I'm saying? You're of the older gentleman too. Have you not discovered how to deliver some of these lines in a particular way that doesn't just start, making you look like all you care about is having a session with these ladies? Right now, of course, he can smooth it over with a little French that he added in there. The little je ne sais quoi he added in there, of course. But even that couldn't, stop him from coming over to the ladies looking like he was, doing too much. Right. So the smoothness, you ever, you get peanut butter crunchy, peanut butter smooth. He's peanut butter crunchy. Okay, it could be smooth, but he's coming off crunchy. You know what I mean? Because it's the delivery, it's the style, it's the panache, it's what you say and at what time you say. How can they end the conversation? And he said, you know what, we needed to have more conversation about sex. It's like, what? What you, what do you mean? We are here trying to have a conversation about trying to have relationships, and you telling me sex is very important, but then you coming at an angle about just wanting to have sex rather than let's talk about, okay, what about the communicational aspect about sex? What about that aspect? We're not talking about that. We're talking about just straight up sex, bro. That's for another time. That's for another place. That's for another season. You coming off real strong. I ain't like that. Okay. All right. I ain't like that. Okay. So he gonna have to work on that or he'll be out by the next week. All right. Because you're doing too much. Way too much. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it be like that, you know. It does a lot, you know. So just a little bit more smoothness, you know what I'm saying? If but again, and I want to say this as well, I want to say this too as well. If you're looking for a relationship, your best foot forward, more than likely, man or woman, is not one of sexual conversation. I'm not saying you can't talk about sex, but if that's all you're really talking about, and that's the gist of your conversation, this is not sending out the signal that I want relationships of a long-term nature that are going to be beneficial to me emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially. This is sending signals that I am a single free bird that just wants to have sex. Now, if that's what you want, if that's what you're looking for, then you're promoting the right energy. But I don't want to hear no complaints that women aren't great, women aren't in the space, women aren't really about it these days. Modern woman this, modern woman that. I don't want to hear complaints like that when you putting out that kind of energy. Because that ain't bringing nobody that's going to be a real relationship. You can't moan about what kind of woman comes to you then at this point when you are putting out sexual energy all the time. I don't want to hear complaints about women aren't matching your speed. They're not here for relationships. They don't know how to treat a man because you are offering prostitution vibes. Just to be honest with you, you're offering gigolo vibes. You're offering I want to have sex vibes. And if that's the case, fantastic. If that's what you want, but if you want a relationship, men, listen very clearly and very closely. If you're looking for a relationship, I need you to start putting out relationship energy. Meaning, I need you first and foremost sit on a bench and heal if that's what you need. But then I also need you also as well. Who are you? What are you about? It's going to be more than just sex. We are emotional beings, spiritual beings, and these also areas need to be tapped into as well. All right, cool. I'll leave that there. I'm sure you'll see my other reviews in the coming days as well. Someone said who's paying for that. But let me get Jay up first. JJ, what you saying to me?
Oh gosh, here we go. What's up, Coach? Welcome back to
Yeah,
this
you
side of the world.
girl. I'm tired, B. I'm tired,
I
but I'm
know
back.
we back. We in this thing. Hey everybody. I hope you guys are having a good one. Happy New Year to you all. We're back.
We back,
Um,
baby.
Let me just say overall, I was telling Seaway earlier, on the individual level, it's a lot to talk about with these people, but I'm not really feeling anybody feeling one another yet. So I'm not picking up on a solid situation yet on anything. I feel like everybody's still feeling each other out, and that's okay because sometimes it do take time to get to know people. Overall, I do feel like the right person went home. This wasn't the setting for her. Very nice girl, but I think the awkwardness of the cameras and everything around just wasn't it for her, you know. But the newbies, baby, Sin City. That's what I'm about to call her because she got body. Okay, she looks good,
Oh,
and she was wearing my favorite color is green. Okay, so she gets a plus on that. She came in saying and stuff. I don't have too much hiccup with her. You know, people gonna feel one way or the other over the submission thing. I wish people would just break it down when they ask that question. Can you
mm,
be submissive? I would like to know what submissive means. That's my usual question. If somebody ever asks me what submissive means to you, so I know what you're looking for because I might not be able to be that. You know, and I'm not just going to be it for everybody. I'm just sorry. I can be. I am a woman. I am a follower of God, so I can be submissive, but just for anybody, nah, that ain't gonna happen. So, I would like more conversation in that part, but maybe they did and it got there. What's the other one? Oh, Joe. Joe was cool. Joe reminds me of um what's her name from Black Ink? Shoot, and I've been saying her name all this time, and now I'm here and I just forgot her name. Uh, the one that was beating up on her boyfriend towards the end, Alex. That was with Alex. If y'all remember her name, she sounds
Type in the
just
chat.
like her. Huh?
I was gonna say, if you remember the name, type in the chat.
Yeah, type it in the chat if y'all remember her name, but I can't think of it right now. But she sounds just like her when she talks. It's so funny. I don't know if it's the East Coast thing or whatnot. You guys tell me. Yes, Donna. Thank you, Tanya. But Donna, she sounds just like her when she talks. I know people gonna say ghetto, whatever. I think it's just that area that she's from. That's how they talk. I like her though. Cool, you know. But again, the ladies is giving. We was talking about what's his name, Febreze. Geez, I this is where keeping it real goes wrong, in my opinion, because I just think I don't have no problem with sex talk. I don't have no problem with you being open about your sexuality and how you like to get down once I get to know you. But off the jump, and you're coming at me with all that in my head, automatically, all I hear is that this is all you want, this is all you care about, this is all you need. So I would probably be more like Jerry and kind of start to write you off over time. But if I know you, I would assume that we're joking. We have this type of relationship that we joke, because I joke like this with people I know all the time. We talk crazy and all this stuff, but we know each other. We have some familiarity, so you know where my boundaries are, where my limits are, if I'm really going to do some stuff, or you just take me for a kid. So it's hard to tell with somebody just coming into your life and they giving you this rant of I want, I want, I want, I want. So it's the same way how we judge Corvaya for how she set her standards is going to be the same way we judge Febreze for how he's coming off for what he wants.
I agree wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. I hear you. Seaway, initial thoughts. Just initial thoughts for us.
Hey guys. Hey everyone. Welcome back, Coach. Hi, JR. I've been talking to Jay, so she ain't been nowhere. But initial thoughts, you know what? I would say this season, I feel like they're starting the new year off pretty good. I am way more interested in this overall cast. I think the women are absolutely beautiful. These set of women, I think is what they wanted last season. But, these women are absolutely stunning. I mean, I'm talking about lots of them are head turners, very easy on the eyes. So even if the whole season is trash, we have something to look at. Even the women, we can appreciate a very beautiful woman. So they look fantastic. And I think they gave us a little bit better with the men. I wouldn't say a lot better, but I do think we have, there's definitely better looking men and better options on this season as well, financially and looks wise. I will say everyone has a lot of baggage though on this season. And I know some people get mad about calling the kids baggage. I get it, but there's a lot of stuff going on. People carrying a lot to them this season. So I think we got a lot of cuties, baddies, professional people, but a lot of them are coming with their kind of second chance on life relationships, which is fine. That's the purpose of the show. But there's not a lot of single with no commitment people on this show, which I think is going to make the few that don't have those type of situations going on, they're going to be kind of hosted up there to the top, and it's going to make it a little, I don't know, kind of competitive, I think, for those few people, especially for the few men, I think, that have that situation. So initial thoughts with that. I mean, I echo everyone's sentiments on Febreze. I think the thing with Febreze, though, and we'll get into this, I'm sure, later, is that the energy that he's giving off is intentional. I don't think he's suffering from delusion. I don't think that he's misinformed about what type of energy he's giving off and what he's going to get back. And that I can respect. I think he fully understands what type of vibe he's trying to attract. And whether we agree with it or not, all I ask is for people to be in the land of being rational and not delusional. I don't have to like what you do, but I just need you to understand the cause and effects of your actions. Yeah, and I'm happy that we have 20 singles. I do need OWN to update the new singles on their website so I can keep up with the new people, because it's a little, they're shading out the old people but not adding the new people, which I find to be
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm trying to keep up with who these people are. I need y'all to add them to the roster. But yeah, I thought this episode was pretty good, and that's just my initial thoughts so far.
Thank you, Zero. Appreciate it. I definitely hear you, though. Definitely hear you. And you're right. I think Jay also mentioned as well about, this gentleman Febreze. He's thinking, he's shooting his gun and knowing who's going to respond to that particular energy. Now, I just want to say, any lady, if you're going to respond to that energy, by all means respond to it. But just know, if you're looking for a relationship and that's everything you're responding to, we're going to have to ask you some questions, okay? Because that's not how we're going to start the conversations that way. He's brand new. JR, talk to me. What are you saying to me? Initial thoughts of this episode. Talk to me. It's good to have you back, bro. Loving the robe as well.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. Nice to see everybody back on the panel. Hope you had a safe travel, Coach. All right, so my initial thoughts. I'm actually more interested in this season after seeing this episode than I was from last week, actually. Like when I saw the trailers, it kind of teased me a little bit. I was intrigued. The last episode, I think Rashid and Simone's proposal kind of was the highlight. This episode, though, I like the curveball. I like the addition of the curveballs. I think they provide a different set of personalities, looks wise as well, very different. And I mean, you've already mentioned some of the things I was going to say, like obviously Corvair's conversations, Febreze, Febreze gave me the vibe of someone who will pretty much bang anything. And the reason why I say that is because of the industry that he's in, where he encounters a lot of ladies, a lot of models, women wanting an opportunity. I'm not going to mention the actor's name that's being prosecuted for those type of things, but that's the vibe I got. It's like, it's kind of like and I don't even want to disrespect him by saying it, but came across kind of sleazy the way he puts it out there. And nothing discreet, nothing romantic about it necessarily, because he's not speaking to someone directly. He's actually just telling all the women. Like it was 6 on 2, right? It's 6 women, 2 guys, like the 2 curveballs, and they were trying to get to know him. Yo, he was putting that out there frequently, just bam, 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 bam. And to what your point about, whichever of the ladies finds that enticing or attracting, then, they're setting themselves up for trouble. We actually did hear feedback from some of those women that actually found him attractive from doing it, right? They didn't actually say he was a creep, he was a sleaze. No, they were like, they liked his accent, they liked probably his forwardness and directness rather than beating around the bush. But you're right, though. That is not the recipe for long-term relationship, love, anything. Lust and love are 2 different things. So he's ready to lust and not ready to love. And that's my early observation. I think the other guy that came in, I think that's pretty much eye candy. Lab technician, good career, good job, and all that stuff. But the first thought was, okay, he's eye candy for the ladies, straight. That he's like a Shamar Moore type looking dude, right? Ladies, curveballs. Jonique. I think she's gonna struggle to be successful in this. Why? Because the type of the way she portrayed herself in her vignettes, that to me made me think, who is she gonna really match with out of the guys on the show? I don't really see it straight away. Maybe something happens later on down the line, but my initial impression of her was, nah, she's not soft enough. She's not warm enough. She doesn't come across as someone that's going to be easy to get along with. And then the final curveball, Cynthia. I think she definitely turned heads. She had Andre with his 3 hairstyles in one, changing his favorite color according to what dress she was wearing, and he was sitting there with Andre was sitting there with Jeffrey, I think it was, and telling her, yeah, you know what, I'm all into you. When you come around me, I feel the energy, I feel the vibe, da 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 da. And then as soon as Cynthia comes and sits down, that was it. Like that whole vibe, everything he said was breeze after that, because he just focused on on Cynthia, and he was really talking about like how he wants to get to know her, the whole submission thing and all that. So my first impressions was very intriguing episode, and yeah, definitely want to see what happens next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. All right, let's jump into some conversations then. Some of the things that were happening. One of the situations, let's talk about first and foremost, Z was eliminated, right? And I feel like obviously this happens every season. Someone gets it. Normally, just I don't know if they get pushed to have this kind of conversation or whatever. But Z in the end started asking the guys, so why am I on the bottom? Why am I on the bottom? Why am I on the bottom? And it just wasn't cute. But I want to ask the panelists, was Z the right choice to be eliminated? And if so, why? And if she is the right person that was eliminated, what could she have done to kind of improve her standing amongst the group? Is there anything that she was doing wrong, or is there anything that she could have done better? I should say, even really, like let's see if we can at least maybe spot some things and help her, quote unquote help her. You know what I mean? In terms of what we saw on the screen. Seaway, your first thoughts? Z eliminated, right person?
I think this choice was the right choice. I think perhaps I think the problem is it was like kind of like just a bad combination of who she was matched with, because I think her being matched with Blake to go on that date, he was just the wrong person. He really wasn't giving her much, and she wasn't giving him much. I think maybe if she was matched with somebody else, maybe somebody else would have went home. I still feel like she was probably the best choice, but I don't think that she was giving a lot of herself. I don't think people were able to break through to her as a person. I do think it's hard to tell people not to ask, why did you put me at the bottom? I think that's kind of a natural thing. I think it looks crazy on TV and you want to have more confidence. But I do think it's a natural question, because if you're trying to improve, you kind of need to figure out why they put you at the bottom, if that makes sense. But I think there's kind of a way to do it that shows a little bit more confidence. But yeah, I don't know. Very cute girl. I just think she was kind of giving blah. And she probably didn't see it for Blake, which I get. But, she needed to kind of show somebody else who she was a little bit better, and I don't think she did that.
Appreciate it, Siway. Let me ask JR then. JR, since you're a dude here, is there a better way that Z could have asked the men, or let me say this: is there a better way Z could have extracted this information about why she was on the bottom? Maybe there's a different way to even ask that, because even me asking that question is a leading question, and I think it's going to lead you to answer in a particular way. But is there a better way that Z could have extracted this information that could have helped her improve her situation?
I think it's a tricky one, because history's shown that the people who survive the elimination and then go back into the group setting and then start trying to interrogate and investigate as to why they were put in the bottom, it rubs people the wrong way, because you're putting them on the spot. The men's lounge is a sacred space, just like the females, the women's lounge is. It's a safe space. So the women aren't supposed to know who voted for who, because then that can affect voting going forward. So I think she fell into the trap of wanting to find out everybody's reason. And as we heard from the feedback in the deliberation, a lot of people put her in the bottom because of that, because it seemed like she doubted herself. She lacked her own confidence. And it, like Seaway said, it may be difficult to be in that situation where, you know, you've been put down there, and but you have to have a understanding that how you view yourself is not necessarily how other people view you. So in terms of extracting information, maybe not have put it as such a prominent feature in the conversations that she had when she got back in the group setting. And she literally went to every single guy that was there and asked them if it was them and, you know, why. And so I think that was just the wrong approach. A much better job of, you know, shrugging it off and saying, okay, I've got a second chance now. That might have worked. I also think that we got to see more of her personality when she left. She broke out in song. She came across a bit more different, right? I think if she had that personality earlier on, then she may not have been eliminated. So it clearly shows she was holding back sides of herself. And yeah, it could have been the date with Blake, the wrong person to bring it out of her. But she did interact with the other guys as well. So that's my thoughts on it personally. Nothing against her, but I just think that when you go down that line of trying to interrogate and put people on the spot, it makes them feel uncomfortable, and they're not gonna want to be honest in giving their assessment, because they know it's gonna hurt her feelings, which is why she's leading with it.
Yeah, definitely hear that. I think also as well, I think in this particular instance, asking for you almost have to play up to the ego of the people that you're trying to get this feedback from, right? Because you want to she asks in a way which was, why am I in the bottom? Which requires an answer of us telling you why you're down there, rather than saying, hey guys, look, I saw myself in the bottom. What could I have improved on? That actually plays on the ego of the other person. Like, okay, like I've seen I'm in the bottom. Like, what can I work on? Then the person who doesn't have to tell you who voted for you or why you're in the bottom. You just can say, listen, hey, look, there's a couple of things here that you know that can be worked on, and I think you'd be great. Right? That plays onto the ego of the other person. That means that person also can give positive aspects of it as well. Like, hey, look, just work on these one or two things and and be done. And I think that's very difficult sometimes because obviously, like I said, it's, you know, she's literally in the show, she's in the competition, you know, sometimes your brain is just thinking, "What? I'm in the bottom." You know what I mean? Like, you know, and you can get caught up in the survival mode. So, I think a better question would have been to say, not even a question would have been, "Hey guys, look, you know what? Like, what can I improve on? I saw that I was in the bottom. You know, I want to make sure that, you know, next time I'm not in the bottom. I want to do better. What can I improve on?" And that actually endears you to people when you say that, because you're actually inviting for them to actually say what can be worked on. And that's always a better way to do it, because I think someone said in the chat, Tasia did the same thing a few seasons ago as well. And it just puts the men on defense. And actually, the men did go on defense, because the men were like, we're not telling you what we said in the chat. We're not gonna start exposing what people have been saying about you. Like, no. Rather than just asking for the feedback, how can I improve? That would have been a better way to have gone about it. Welcome, Corey, as well, to the chat. I see Sean's in the background as well, which means we can equal up. We've got equal members now. Oh, we need one more woman though. But yeah, we're talking obviously about Z and her being eliminated. What did you see, Corey? Z got eliminated. Right choice? And if so, why?
Yeah, I definitely think it was the right choice, you know, because to me, like, she was given those familiar type of habits that we've seen in previous episodes. Now, when it comes to was it the right move? Yes, it was the right move because of what she was doing. It would be a turnoff to anyone. And I honestly think she should not have asked anything. I know you guys were talking about trying to reposition a question. I don't think she should have asked anything. She has to understand that, okay, these people don't know me. The little time they had to spend with me, that's their own thoughts. Let me show them who I am and just be myself, my genuine self. No questions needed, no responses needed. Just be who you are so they can see more of who you are so they won't vote you off the next time. I mean, they spent 5 minutes with you and made a decision based on those 5 minutes. So don't take it personally. Don't be hurt about that. Just move forward and move stronger. And you'll see where you are.
Fair play. Fair play. All right, cool. I like it. Jay, what's your thoughts? Z eliminated, correct choice? If so, why? And if so, if you can add, is there anything she could improve on? How would she go about doing that?
Yeah, correct choice. I actually think she should have went the first week instead of Natasha. I
Same.
think Natasha had a little bit more personality for TV, you know. And I maybe it's the setting, maybe it's a bit of Blake, and I would like to say it's a combination of her and Blake. But unfortunately, last week somebody said the same thing too. I'm not knowing who she is, so it is a lot of her not opening up to people. And I get it. These are a bunch of strangers. You're not really sure who, to confide in and what to confide into people. And you're on national TV. Sometimes that can be a lot. However, you are looking for love. And so you have to make yourself vulnerable in those positions in real life, as well as being on this TV show. So for her, yes, I feel like she was bound to go home soon enough, especially how that conversation was going with Blake, because giving him credit, I know we might feel some type of way about him, but though he was asking a lot of questions, every answer she gave was closed-ended. It never led to a conversation. And yes, he could have possibly opened himself up a bit and tried to make the conversation work by doing that approach, because sometimes you talk about yourself helps a person talk about themselves. He could have tried that approach. But if I ask you a question and then I return the question to, yes, I know about your family, I know about your dog, I know about your car, I don't know you. That's meaning open up, please. Please say something more than the regular obvious conversation stuff. I want to know who you are. What do you like? What type of men do you like? What are you into? Give me some more. And she just wasn't giving that to anybody. Not even to us as an audience, for the most part. Even the little song at the end was more of her, but it still wasn't nothing. I'm sorry, it just wasn't enough. So I feel like the right person went home. As far as asking the questions, she wasn't as aggressive as Tasia was in the past when she did it. But however, it didn't just stop. When, I don't know if it was Joe or Cynthia, one of the new girls came up and said, how is you guys going so far? That's the first thing she said. Well, I was at the bottom and, these guys, so you're already putting them on notice. You're putting them on watch and they're standing guard. Now you feel defensive when they're talking to you. So that's not a good thing to do. You just like, you could tell her directly, I was on the bottom, so I'm not really sure. I might not be doing it wrong. Have a conversation with her in that regards around the men. And maybe they would feel comfortable enough to pull you to the side and say, hey, even though I might not be interested in you, they could take you like a friend and say, maybe if you work on these things, you do these things are coming across this way to us. And this is it. A lot of times these are conversations you can't put in front of a group. You have to do one-on-one and just politely come at a person like, I understand, like you said, Kojo, I understand there's something I must be doing wrong. People feel like they're under attack when you make it feel like they're the ones who put you at this bottom. So sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, I am doing something wrong, why I was picked to be in the bottom. So I got to approach people with, what am I doing wrong? Maybe what it is, something I'm coming at you guys, something I said. Just let me know for future. Not to be with you, but for future potentials out there in the world. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I do think that she was the right person to go home this week.
Totally hear that. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, I definitely hear that as well. Yeah, absolutely right. For future parties, maybe you can't win this group over, but the next time you meet someone, you now have some information to improve upon. You know what I mean? I think that's why I like the feedback aspect in terms of asking what can you improve on, because it means the next time you go into a relationship or next time you go into a situation, you know what to do. Also as well, like these group things aren't always easy. Like going on to Ready to Love, some people don't thrive in a group dynamic. So her personality might come out more when she is not necessarily in this kind of framework. Some people just don't work well in this kind of environment, which is fair. I think you mentioned it, JR, about her personality coming out a little bit later on, maybe because she realized the pressure's off, she can bring more of her personality on. And unfortunately, the guys didn't see it. And I think Jay made some good points as well about the close-end aspect of her replies as well, because, as much as, I may not like Blake all the way through in terms of, the situation he's coming with, he was asking questions. And, a of course, it may have felt a bit more interrogatory, but in that aspect, he wanted to know a bit more about who you were. But maybe the questions didn't come in the way that she wanted it to per se. But we didn't get to see any evidence of her really asking him questions either. So it could be a bit of both. Well, you know what I mean? We probably need a bit more evidence, information, but yeah, it can work on both sides, Sean, I don't know if you're there, bro. If you're there.
I'm here.
Yeah, brother. What are you saying, brother?
Yeah, so I do think she was the right person to go home, and similar to what everyone else was saying, I feel like what happens, and we see this now because we've been reviewing this for season upon season, there's always going to be the person that gets eliminated that comes back and goes around and tries to figure out who eliminated me, right? I don't know if that's a production thing where they tell them to ask that, but there's always that person. So Z was that person, and we just watched her go around from place to place and having these conversations, right? So I think what people miss is that, or what I felt she missed is, when you're in the bottom, it's your opportunity to self-reflect and realize what happened in this group that I was put in the bottom, that there are things that I could work on, right? So instead of trying to figure out who was the scheme and the plot that was set up that why you were eliminated or put in the bottom, how about figuring out what are the things that you can do better to navigate the process with these folks? And she wasn't asking the right questions. It was more so like a woe is me, like I was in the bottom. And, I think I forgot who said it. I think it was even Blue who mentioned that her confidence, she had even lost confidence. So it's like when you get eliminated, you're in the bottom. It's your opportunity to re-strategize, come back at it, and let's just, make some course correction. And unfortunately, she didn't do it. I think that her personality is really not suited for Ready to Love and that kind of process and dating multiple people. She's like a slow burn kind of woman where you have to get to know her, make her feel comfortable, and then she'll kind of open up a little bit, because she was very kind of standoffish. I know Blake was a little abrupt, but he tried, right? He tried to pull something out of her. So I don't think this is the process for her. So she needed to go to leave room for other people who really can do better in this process. Now, is it Corvaya? I don't know about that. But I think it was time for Z to go.
Appreciate it, Sean. definitely appreciate it as well. And I think again, this goes back to last week when I was saying I knew Z wasn't no alpha female. This is why I didn't want her to chat that rubbish she was chatting. It was absolute cap when she was talking last week about she's an alpha female telling old boy that she's alpha female. What's his name? DeMarco. Demario. Sorry. And this is what about staying true to oneself. You know what I mean? As well. It's like almost she tried to try and mirror, and then end up in the bottom two, and that they destroyed her confidence. So it's like, where's the alpha gone? There was no alpha. You know what I mean? So it's like you gonna have to, and this is why this process can be really good, because it can be a self-reflection point. When she watches it back, we can ask her, if we get to interview her, hey babe, what was the alpha female comment that you were making? And I'm sure she might answer and say, I'm very assertive. And I'm like, well, babe, I didn't see that, because what we saw on the screen, there was no assertiveness there. Okay, I don't see her, putting people in check. You let Blake run all over you. It's what I'm saying. Like, I need to see a bit more alpha. If that's what you're telling me you are, let's see it. Put that into action, not just into words as well. So, she can look back on this and have a see. She can work on some things as well. So someone said alpha in her circle. Well, that's true actually as well. It's very true. She might be the most assertive person in her circle, which is fair play. All right, cool. Let's then talk about and I want to get this more to the men to get their perspective. Jonique, I like Jonique. I like her energy. I ain't gonna lie to you. But someone did label her as sassy. Okay, a little sassy. Okay, when she was in the group, she said, "Listen, they can't handle me. That's up to them." I said, "Oh, Jonique, Jonique, oh, we going there again this season." So when I ask the men first, and I'll get the ladies involved. Jonique, sassy, good thing or a bad thing? We're just talking generalities here, and of course, it's going to be biased because I don't know every single man. So before any lady jumps in there and tells me I don't know every single man, you're absolutely right. I don't. We're speaking in generalities. Jonique, sassy, good thing, bad thing. Um, for us as men, what we saying out here. JR's licking his lips and shaking his head. So JR, give me the R&B version. What are you telling me?
Boy, I wish I could give you the R&B version, but no, I have to go hardcore, just like her attitude is, man. Very hard, straight to the point. Jonique, um, I don't want to use the term hood chick. That'll be too strong. But I think, um, she came across as someone that isn't warm and endearing, and she wants a man to handle her. And for me personally, I don't like that type of talk from a girl that I'm interested in. Not at all. So my instincts, my spider senses, they were tingling when she was talking. And like I said, I just don't know if that energy is gonna be compatible with some of the guys on the show that I've seen so far. They are tending to look at the I want to say the Jeffries to an extent, also looking in the direction of Mercedes, those type of women who are more softer spoken, seem like they're cool and fun to be around. Jonique to me gives me the impression that it might be problematic. If she gets pissed, then it's going to be curtains verbally, and yeah, I'm not too hot on that, to be honest. But that's just my personal preference. No disrespect to her or anybody else. I just didn't like that at all.
Appreciate it, JR. Thank you very much. He said he wants to avoid saying hood chick, but then said hood chick to avoid saying hood chick. Corey.
Bad. It's a bad thing. I'm telling you right now, it's a bad thing. All right. So one thing, here's the thing for her. Like she comes off as proud. There's nothing wrong with being a proud Black woman. There's nothing wrong with being proud of your success. But when she came out like that, she gave me very much Sharice vibes, like boss lady type vibes. And when you give off that boss lady type vibe, it just says something to me that, it's like you're giving me a job for an assignment that I already understand. So I understand what I need to do to be a man in this relationship. I don't need you to tell me I need to know how to handle you. I don't need you to tell me this and tell me that. It's like she seems that type of woman that will give instructions throughout the relationship of how you should be in the relationship. And that's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to tolerate at all. So for me, she would be ideal, but maybe somebody, but not for me.
Okay. Sean, don't know if you're there, bro. I don't know if you get your thoughts on Jonique if you're there. I don't want you to crash a car though. What are you saying?
That's the one that came on towards the end, correct?
She was part of the new group. Her and Cynthia came through.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm trying to learn from JR. So City Girls Up is what comes to mind when I think about her. But listen, there's a lid for every pot. I ain't everybody's pot. I ain't everybody's lid. So I definitely understand that. And I got off on the wrong floor of my elevator, so there's that.
Sounds
That
like
was
you need a
God telling
Jonique
me to slow my roll.
He be everywhere in his house. Go home, Roger. What are you doing?
I am. I'm on the third floor, and I should be on the second. But nevertheless, yeah, that's my thought on that. I think she did soften up. I don't remember the dude she went on like dates or had the interactions, but I think there was one maybe group interaction. Oh yeah, that's right. She came in towards the tail end when Cynthia was engaging with the fellas. So her attitude there was kind of lackluster, but I think when she had the second interaction, I think she was with somebody else. I can't remember all the names at the moment, but she softened a little bit. So I think she's got potential, beautiful body. And, but just definitely it's giving City Girls. And I'm signing off.
Not even signing off as he said. Listen. I think Jonique is pretty cool. I like her energy. I like her vivacious energy. It did give me pause when she mentioned, someone's just gonna have to handle me. And whenever I hear someone's just got to handle me, I'm like, well, you know what? There's a lot of guys who probably would handle, but how many gonna actually want to maintain? Like I always talk about that. I'm not saying there isn't a guy that will handle that. There is. There is always a guy that's gonna handle something. Do you know what I mean? There's always a man out there that will handle something. There's enough of us, so there's enough men out there that's gonna handle something. But it does. Whenever I hear that, I am the way I am kind of energy. It's very tuggy to me. It's very tuggy. It's very how do we say this? Tuggy is a very English word. Sorry. It's very rough. You know what I mean? And so whenever I hear that, the kind of roughness, then you're gonna have to. If she's comfortable with that, then it's fine. Then you often will find the roughness usually brings somebody who is either tuggy, way more tuggy than you, or it brings somebody who's far more, I would say, softer, who tends to kind of like complement that kind of energy that kind of buffers you and kind of softens you up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it gave a bit more of that tussling vibe. Not that you're going to start fighting and be in the streets or anything, but more of a case of the argumentative energy might be coming through a little bit. And you know what? When I say what I say, it is what it is. And it's like, well, for me, that's not going to work. But that's for me. Personally, again, so I that's why when they call her sassy, I'm gonna be honest with you. When men start calling women sassy, I'll be honest with you, it don't usually be a good sign. It be the downfall. It be the beginning of the downfall. But let's get the ladies involved and see what they say. Seaway, what's your thoughts to that particular part? Jonique sassy. Do you agree with that sentiment? Do you see something different? Do you feel something different? What's your thoughts?
I'm not gonna say. I think we just can't conflate with her being a little hood, a little true Miami, with her being problematic. And let me explain. I think we think as Black people we're a monolith, but in reality, there's levels to the way we kind of conduct ourselves, and a lot of times, certain type of Black people don't necessarily get along or may not flow with other type of Black people because we were raised differently. We think differently. And I guess I'm like JR, I'm trying to say it in a correct way because I'm not trying to be mean about it. But when she came on the screen, it just gave me a little hood. And I think she may have a perfectly unproblematic relationship with the dude that's a little hood. It just may not be anybody that I've seen on this show. And it may not be any men on this panel. I do think when you say stuff like, I need a dude that can handle me, I think she's kind of saying like, I need a dude that can kind of roll with the way I roll, how I act, the way I may vibe. Because let's say she talks a certain way and she get with the dude who's been in Jack and Jill, or is that just women? I don't even know. Because I didn't grow up in Jack and Jill. But anyway, like if she gets with a dude
It's
like
both.
that, it's both. Okay, thank you. Yeah, my parents are from Inglewood, so I don't know about Jack and Jill. But if she gets with a dude like that, he may not understand that type of way she talks, and he may be offended, and it's because it's a cultural difference. So yeah, I just don't feel like she's a good flow for anybody that I've seen so far. because she's giving real Miami, not this like transplant Miami that a lot of times they have. So yeah. Does that answer, Kojo?
Yeah, answer's fine. That's perfect. I appreciate it. Good insight. No, I definitely hear you. And that's just, I wanted to get different perspective. Maybe you saw something a little bit different. Do you know what I mean? So I'm definitely hear what you're saying. I need a bit more bougetto, but I hear what you're saying. I want a bit more bougetto. If I want toxicity, I want a bit more bougie to it. Jay, give it to shout out to Zadia for that. Jay,
is it booty jello or booty jello you want?
Is it booty jello? That's very true. It's booty jello. Sorry, my bad. It's booty jello because you got a booty too. I want both.
Okay. Joe is not Caucasoid corporate America voice. That's really what it is. It's her voice. She hasn't gave anything else right now that says that she's ratchet or hood or anything outside of the way she talks, her mannerism. So, and I chalk it up, like I said, she's from Jersey originally. Donna's not from Jersey, but Donna's in that area. Donna talks the same. They sound the same. Now, will she be a Donna later on? That's up to us to see in the future or things to happen. We never know. But at the same time, Donna was in a relationship. She was a good job sometimes in the relationship. So there's potential for her to be great in a relationship. She came in answering all the questions honestly. Donna is from Black Geek, so y'all don't have to worry about that. But she came in, answered questions honestly, to her best ability. She wasn't closed off with anything. She answered all their questions, whether they liked it or not. So sometimes when people say, you got to take me for I am, it's not always a bad thing. They just know that they're rough around the edges when it comes to certain things. They're just not going to fit into every scene that you bring them to. So, if you are Jack and Jill, she might not fit in with your classmates and your peers because she's going to talk and present differently, but that just means that, you like me for me. And we got that for the fact that she likes people for themselves when she just says, I've dated men that other people might consider ugly. We do that. We date people sometimes that aren't what we or our friends or people around us might deem the best for us, but there's reasons why we date them, and we're going to do it because we want to. Now, are they always the best reasons? No, but so far, sis hasn't gave me anything too much. She is a little, I can see, the only bad thing I could say is probably the jealous. She has a slight jealous streak, and that's when she walked up with Cynthia and felt like she was supposed to be the only woman there. And it's like, girl, you came in new with somebody else. So I don't know why you would feel you should be the only one there. But I love her confidence. She throws that body around with no problem and stuff. And, she got a little body on her. So do your thing, mama. Beautiful girl. But other than that, I won't go too far because people like what they like. And somebody's going to eventually like her. Is he on this show? Probably not. Probably not. I hope not. Jeez.
Love that. Thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate you for that as well. Sean will come back in a sec. So obviously she made another a good point since we are on Jonique. And this has been a subject of conversation for the past few months. But I think it's great. We should talk about it. She says she does date ugly, baby. Okay. All right. She said it confidently. Do you know what? Can I just say, we've had discussion several times but you know what? As I said, I'm trying to be more open to everybody's perspective in 2023.
Can I just laugh? And I thought about you guys when the camera rolled by. You looked at all the men's faces. I just thought about you guys when you looked at all the men's faces because the men were hurt. The men were hurt by her saying yes. It
was too hot.
But I didn't hear her say yes. So.
She did say yes. She said she date people that she said they might be ugly. The world might deem them ugly, but to her, she finds them attractive. Yeah, they're not.
Right.
So
to me, I think she was kind of defending the fact that she thought they were ugly. That's what I got from it. Like she was saying that the guys that she finds attractive, who she finds attractive. But then she came back and said something about you find something a little ugly about them when the more and more you look at them or something like that. She said, when she could have just said, yeah, I do date other guys because a lot of women do. So I don't get it.
I got that part. The only reason I got that part is because when I break up with you, I start finding all your flaws, and I be looking like, damn, why was I with you? Your tooth is like right there, like, look at me.
Now, why you give Sean that? Because he already ready to get on my nerves.
Yeah, see, you know, and we've been trying to tell y'all that this is a whole thing, right?
You don't be ugly until after, Sean.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
just let me say my say. So she was doing so well. She was doing so well when she was like, they're attractive to me, but then the truth just started coming out. You know, and when you let a faucet run long enough, the water's going to flow. So she got to it. She like, yeah, they might be ugly, but you know, I don't need no other woman looking at them. So now you got an ulterior motive and you still think they ugly. She was so good because she was like really nice. She was like, you know, listen, there's different people as long as I find them attractive. I'm like, all right, sister, you about to help your sisters out here. Nope. She got to the meat of the matter, and the meat of the matter is she can be with a dude that's ugly and feel like he's ugly, and she gonna be all right with it until she's not. And when she's not, she gonna be telling him about that buck tooth. She gonna be telling him about that cock eye. She gonna be telling him about whatever it is that she thinks is unattractive, and she gonna call it out.
But you see what that
y'all
creates,
don't
right?
do the same thing when y'all be sitting there trying to holler at a girl at the bus stop and she don't say nothing. You be like, "Oh, you ugly anyway with your you're ugly." So y'all do the same thing.
Not my style. Not my style.
Not my style at
But
all.
you-
know that
It
shit.
might not be her style to cuss them out afterwards and tell them how ugly they were. She just, politely leave them alone and just be like, "I don't know why I was with you."
Come on.
But
You don't believe that, Jay.
Come on. If you tell a dude his girl is ugly or unattractive, and that's he gonna either fight you or he gonna be like, nah, she's a baddie. Ain't no way gonna be like, yeah, we know she looked like the back of my shoe, but I'm with her because of her heart. No, they're gonna feel like she's attractive. You know?
Sean,
Absolutely.
remember when we did this, right? When we talked about this, what Sean, the coach, remember we talked about this when we said that the women will wait and say, okay, let me see a picture of him. They start giving excuses first. Wait, let me tell you, but he's a really nice guy.
Disclaimer, Corey. They do it the disclaimer.
Really sweet. He's really cool.
Corey,
he's
you got
good
some
with my
jacked up
kids.
female friends in your life.
He's good with my kids. Yeah, for the homework. Yeah, it's all the good stuff.
You guys are not being honest. A lot of men, and unfortunately, some of y'all will be in this predicament if y'all keep passing over the baddies in y'all prime, but I'll let y'all do that. But a lot of y'all, after y'all pass over all the baddies in your prime, when you had a hairline, when you had all the things, y'all, that was no shade, Sean. I'm sorry.
Not a mother effing hairline. Not in 2023. This is not how we gonna start the new year. I need you to wrap this up. Get to it, please, because you're going wrong.
Hey, circle your plan again. Circle your plan again.
Let me land it because I was not trying to take no shot. Okay. A lot of y'all end up with the women. Y'all won't say they're just average, but y'all end up with the women who y'all think will be the best for y'all kids, the best, like, not a homemaker, like she doesn't have a job, but just like the more like mothering, nurturing, the person that you can bring around, the person that you can take to your fancy corporate dinners. And yeah, they may be somewhat attractive to you, but they don't be the baddest that you could have had back in the day. Y'all be going with the best overall package. And a lot of times they be 7s and 6s, and then y'all end up cheating with the 9s that you really wanted. And that is what literally be going on. Now, the women will just tell you, I picked this 6 dude who had money and he was nice to me and treated me well. Is he the most attractive I've been with? No, but he doesn't have to be. Y'all can't really say that for 2 reasons. One, you can't actually openly say that you don't think your woman's a baddie. We don't accept that as well. So I will give you credit for that. But the truth is, y'all are not being honest with yourselves. And then y'all cheat with the real baddie. I'm just saying. Y'all, I'm lying.
I have no idea. I have no idea
what's baby mamas.
There is not one baddie. There's not one baddie in my life that I let slip away. I don't know what you're talking about. So I no.
The thing is,
somebody heard me.
This is subjective, right? Because like, let's be real. When you're with the person, there are certain things that you find attractive about them that's why you're with them, right? And other people may not see that. They may not know the person as well. They may just go off, physical aesthetics, but that's not what it takes to have a relationship, right? So I don't doubt for a single second that Jonique has dated guys that she probably doesn't consider handsome or attractive or whatever. But that's the case with most people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't get baddies all the time. Sometimes you're with people not for the aesthetics, but you're with them for more than that. And that's what this show is really going to get to the crux to, because once you meet them and you've had the mixer and you start talking, then it's the personality, and then you're deciding, you know what, nah, I'll let someone else have a chance with her because I'm not connecting with her, or vice versa. The women may say that about some of the men, but the facts are, like, it's very rare that you meet someone that has the full package of looks and personality.
Yeah, that's my point, though.
According to everybody's beauty standards, you're only going off of what you like, right?
We agree. You proving my point. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying a lot of men end up not, getting the full package, and a lot of them will be with women that aren't necessarily baddies because overall she has that full overall package. You weren't really a part of this ongoing saga, but we got a lot of heat, us women, for saying that a lot of women are with men that may not be look like Morris Chestnut, but we find them attractive overall. And I'm saying that men all do that.
No, I heard
the missing piece, though, if I can just add this, it's not about how we view people and their attractiveness. It's y'all trying to sit up here and gaslight us and tell us that women view attraction differently than men. So no. It ain't all about all that stuff. That is all valid points. Absolutely. Men can be with a woman who is not our ideal. But we ain't gonna gaslight you and tell you that attraction is not important, or my attraction builds differently and my attraction can grow. No, if the ninja is ugly, if you think he's ugly, he's always ugly.
Explain Flavor Flav different decisions. Explain Flavor Flav and all them baby mamas.
Clout.
It's not. I didn't say ugly men can't get women. Jay. That's not the point.
Stuff like that. No, that is the point. That's what I'm saying.
That is not the point.
Them heifers is fighting over that man. Okay.
Because of his money.
Not because of his money. They were.
And because of his because of who he is, his whatever the word is.
Over that thing before that. There's ugly people.
If he was a regular,
okay. There's ugly people that get caught out in the streets. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We never said that we don't view attraction the same way. We don't value attraction the same way. That's what we said. You got the V's confused. Value, not view.
No, I'm not confused.
You got the V's confused.
No, I'm not confused at all.
The V's, not you confused. You got the V's confused.
No, I definitely know. All my letters are alphabetically aligned, and I'm not confused. I remember the debate. I remember the discussion, and it's not.
It's up in the chat. It's in our chat.
We can agree to disagree on this point, but yeah, that ain't it.
Just ask the ladies in the chat.
Okay, so where we at now? We're at the point.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to go where we at.
Okay, so wait, I'm crying so much. I'm so sorry. I've missed you guys. This conversation. I think personally, right? I actually wasn't too offended by Jonique's statement. I will be honest with you, right? She was, like I said, I agree with Sean here, and I agree with the ladies too, which is that she was doing so well. She was doing so well. Up until a point, and then she started to fall off. I think the difference between men and women is this, right? I would never call any of my exes ugly, ever. I don't think any of them are ugly. I think they're fine ass babes. Could I get a baddie who's better than them? Technically, yes, but I would still never call any of my exes ugly. I think this is the difference between men and women. She can go around saying my exes are ugly, but the difference between us is that we would never call any of our exes ugly. I think as a man, your pride is this. I'm sorry. Even if I think there are baddies out there who are more attractive, even if I compare them to my girl, that says she's attractive to me is exactly what us as men are. We don't see ugly because that can't be my girl. She's ugly. She's not my girl. Now, of course, can a man see another woman and think she's better?
Oh yeah, he's frozen. He's frozen.
Oh, he's
So I think I get what he's saying though, because like it's levels for us when it comes to attraction. So we won't put someone just into that category. And I think an example I used last time was I said, you know, all the guys up here, if a woman looked at all the guys up here, she would see levels of what she would be attracted to with each one of the guys. And men would do the same thing with a woman, you know. So I think that's kind of what he was going with the but we don't say it, you know, flat out. That's what it is.
And that I get. You guys won't say it flat out. Women, they will. I'm not one. I don't feel like I'm going to admit to anything ugly. If you was ugly, I forgot about you. We didn't date. That's but like I'm like her where it is. To me, you're attracted. I'm attracted to you for whatever reasons. And to me, I don't give a damn what nobody say. If I'm with you, because I find you attractive. I'm not worried about the world and all that stuff, but I'm never going to break up with you. When I say I see your flaws, it's just because I'm starting to see you from past what I seen. I have like a shallow how thing or whatever. So when it comes down to us breaking up, then it starts, I think because I'm annoyed, I start picking at things about you and stuff. And that's just a flaw that I personally have. It doesn't mean that that person is ugly or not attractive to other people in the world. It's just that I'm finding reasons why I need to leave this relationship more than the reasons I already have.
Well, I think Seaway said one thing that I totally agree with. And when she was saying that, like, as men, there's certain things that we just can't say, right? We cannot, and that is also a very much a difference between men and women. And Corey and I were, having this discussion as well. It's like we can't talk about a woman's looks easily. And whenever there's something that we don't like about a woman, we have to, it's such a delicate dance that we have to do when we are talking about that, because we going to get canceled, spliced, diced, called every name under the sun for not liking a woman, right? And again, not all, but in most situations, we start talking about women in a way like if we called a woman medium ugly, yeah, that's just not going to go over very well universally. Now, some women who are highly confident be like, well, that don't apply to me, right? So moving on. But it is met with a lot of resistance when we do it. And I think that there's some instances when we shouldn't, and I'm with it. But that ability to really be honest and really be like, oh, okay, like for women to, and this is why Kevin Samuels got so much flack. And just this particular point, when it came to the women's rating scales, so many women were like, well, I'm a 10. And then the other woman would be like, you a 10. No, every woman can't be a 10. Every man can't be a 10. Because there's a scale for a reason. So you need to be realistic. So that reality, a lot of times women struggle with it and look at themselves in the mirror and be like, where do I fall in line? And that's where the reckoning comes, right? Because there are some women who could be like, I know my shortcomings. I know what I got. But then you got the message on the other hand. It's like, oh, you can get anybody you want. No, you can't. I can't get anyone I want, and neither can you. So let's just find ourselves a reality space and let's exist there and not in delusional land. And I think that's where we tussle, because women can have that fantasy of they can be whatever they want to be. Well, a man can't. And we have to exist in reality most of the times.
Can I just also say that when somebody that you're with has an opinion of you that you're not attractive, maybe it's physically or whatever, right, in this instance, but when times get tough or there's arguments or there's crosswords or things like that, then guess what comes up? There's personal attacks. And sometimes it's there in the energy that they have towards the person when they're speaking to them, or when they're, trying to be like ask things from them and things like that. So it's not something that you can just switch off. If you're not attracted to the person and you've told yourself that, then you're probably going to let the person know that. And once you start doing that, then it's going to erode your partner's self-confidence, self-esteem. And they're going to sometimes question well, what are you doing with me then if you're not attractive? So I think that's a very slippery slope to go down if that's a common theme. That when you date someone who you're not necessarily attracted to, why bother? If you think you can do better, then why not just go for better then? And those guys that you think are better may not be looking in your direction, but don't settle. Stick to your guns. If you feel like you can do better, and you're a baddie or you're a 10 or whatever, and you're only dating someone who's a 7, then cut that person loose, because they might be a 10 to someone else if they're not to you. So yeah.
I think with her saying what she said created an atmosphere that was not needed, because now at this point, any man who gets chosen, he got to second guess himself. You don't know if he falls in the ugly category or not. You don't know what he's working with right now. This man had been getting women all his life. Now all of a sudden he's gonna be thinking, hey, I've been ugly this whole time, but didn't know it. Like he's nobody wants that now. No one wants that smoke right now. So she created that for herself. So she messed up big time doing that.
But Corey, remember, that was what's his face with the curly Q. That was his fault.
Andre.
Yeah, because he started asking them questions. See, that for me, wrong question. You shouldn't, bro. It was like, I don't know where he was going with that question. Like, what's your type? Like, and first of all, Cynthia, woo, chef's kiss to her.
Bro. That's a whole other live.
We gonna get there. But she answered the question. I mean, like I wanted to like hug her, because that's what it should be, right? And I think that's more of where we can get to like a general consensus about this man-woman thing, right? It's like, let's just meet each other, get to know each other, forget about a type, right? Because we all have specifically in our minds what we want a mate or partner to look like, but how about let's get to know each other and put the package together. Mm-hmm. Your physical together with what you have to offer mentally, all of that stuff, right? And I think Cynthia nailed it versus, Jonique, who went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I agree. Andre is a whole different thing. We're on Jonique right now, but when we get on Andre, I do have some things I want to say about bro, man. Okay. But yeah.
About who? Andre?
Oh my goodness, bro.
Yeah, we'll talk about him. Yeah, I know.
I'm waiting. Yeah, definitely.
Listen, I'll just be honest with you. Andre is someone, bro. He's a setup person. I wouldn't roll with Andre. He's a setup person. The questions he was asking was trying to set niggas up, and I don't like that. Seaway, Seaway looked like you had to down the line. So give me some of that elite content that I need. Go for it.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is Cynthia gave. She's a baddie. I loved her answers. If I was a PR person, I couldn't have given her better answers to give the men. But then she turns around and gives all of her attention to Andre. And also, I believe she's a mom of 2. I don't know if she's ever been married before. My question is, she seems like she has it all together and nothing together at the same time. So I'm going to wait and see, because sometimes you're better off with the Jonique or whatever her name is giving you the real answer than Cynthia telling y'all what you want to hear, telling you that she's submissive and all this other stuff, because the math isn't mathing. Cynthia she's absolutely my favorite before anybody comes. I love the way she's presenting. As soon as she walked on the screen, I was like, that's a Haitian baddie. I was here for her, girl power, whatever. But then I start trying to figure out, man, this girl, if I was a guy, this is who I would pick. But then I'm like, why is she going for the dude with the thing on his head? Out of all the men, Andre, that's giving red flag. I like to call the red flags out early before y'all even have to get around to it. I'm telling you right now, what Cynthia is saying and presenting is not matching already, seemingly her past and her future. So I'm going to leave it at that. And we can get there later, but it's just not adding up.
I hear you. All right. Well, since we're already on Cynthia, might as well, because she's one of the newbies as well. We've done Jonique, so we can do Cynthia now as well. Yes. So Cynthia situation. Listen, we all agree. I think the men here, university, can agree. she a baddie. Okay, she bad. Okay, but I actually happen to agree with Seaway. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't buying the answers. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I wasn't buying it. Maybe that's just my, intuition, or maybe that's just me just being a bit more negative sometimes in my approaches. I wasn't buying it. Okay. The answer she gave was a great answer. I've been living in my thingy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be in your position. It sounded a little too rehearsed for me. I don't know. It didn't come out naturally for me. It didn't come that way. So for me, I was like, okay, not sure. I want to wait and see what more we get to. Also as well, Andre didn't even like her in the beginning. That's what even scares me the most. That's a side note. Andre didn't even like her. He said he didn't even like her when she first started, but he found her attractive. I don't like Andre either. I found him a little bit duplicitous. So I'm keeping my very eye on Andre. But back onto Cynthia. I think she's amazing. I think she's beautiful. She gets some great answers. I did like her point about, everyone being her type, which is some bullshit. Because not everyone's your type. It's a lie from hell. Not everybody's your type. I need people to stop lying, because it's not. Okay. Physically, you have a type that you are drawn to. Now, you may be more open, but you're not open to everybody. I need you to stop that, because there's not every man that you're going to be open to physically. You know what I mean? I get it that she said she has to give everybody a chance and everything like that. I hear that. But I was like, that's some bullshit. Maybe let's stop lying. It's not everybody who you give a chance to physically. You know what I mean? So, but I got her point. What she's saying is she's not going to start ruling out people just like that. I appreciated that point as well. But I did feel there's a little bit of pageant answers in there. And I'm waiting to see what happens in the next few weeks. I feel like she got a little bit of spice that's going to ginger and it's going to show itself a little bit later on in the episodes. But she may prove me wrong, and she may just maybe just cool. I don't know. But yeah. Let me get to Jay. Since Jay, what's your thoughts on Cynthia? What are you saying? She had a conversation with the lads too. What was your kind of perception of Cynthia, the baddie?
Like I said, beautiful, beautiful girl, great body. I did feel like some of her answers weren't legit. She was just trying to stay in the process of it. So it's kind of good to see the guys like really call her out, because usually when a person say, what is your type, they're speaking on aesthetics. They're not talking about what kind of personality does he have, what type of characteristics and all this stuff. They're literally just talking on the outside of what it is. And so when they had to keep going down, do you like dark? Do you like light skin? Do you like tall? Do you like eyes? And she started naming all of these things. That's your type, sweetie. That's your type. Now, will you knock some people out of the box by that? Yes, but the next follow-up statement is, yes, those are my preferences to start off with. I would generally, in my past, I would generally go for these people, but I've learned at this age, I need to open myself up more to more people and things. And so maybe it's there. And it's kind of hard because it's like a no-win situation sometimes when you're trying to date multiple people. And so when this comment, if I like dark and most of the room is light, it's like, oh, well, automatically she's not looking for me. They start canceling themselves out in their head. But there's ways that you can do it. Like she started off, in my past, I like these type of people, but as I've gotten older, I've been open to more people, found out, I stated outside a lot of things and all this. Yeah. We can do it that way. And it still is, I'm mentioning my type. You don't have to say a certain color, complexion, and like that. Is generally, I would probably go for a taller guy, more built, more buff, more this. But I have dated some really nice guys that have been this size or this way or this, that, and the third. So had she did a little bit more what Joe did in that moment, I think it would have been a little bit better. I do agree as far as Andre all of a sudden liking her because of the submissive answer was just crazy, because it was just that for me, when she answered that, it was too quick. I could be editing, I could be wrong on it, but it just jumped out. Yes, I can be very submissive. Like, girl, are you submissive to everybody? Like, that question didn't come off submissive at all. Like, you didn't even answer that submissively. So I'm just like, I feel like a little reach, a little extra stretch for some stuff, but we'll see as we continue. I do like her. I do like her a lot right now. She's a very nice candidate, but we'll see.
Appreciate it, Jay. Yeah, see, go for it. Yeah.
I just want to finish mine because I know people will clarify my statement for me if I don't. I do want to be clear that I don't have a problem with her saying that she doesn't have a type. I've said this, and that's why we kind of tussled on this channel before. I'm very personality based. You couldn't look at any of my relationships before I got married to be like, okay, they look one particular way, because I really vibe with personality. So I don't think that answer was just was fake in and of itself. I do think there's a lot of people like that, and she could be genuine. And I do also believe that her answers were great for that scenario. I don't think she could have won either way, you know. But I will say is the thing that really made the red flag with her is her seemingly, unless production did it, gravitating towards Andre after saying all of those things. That was to me very odd, and it reminded me of the girl who had the braids last year that was going towards Justice. It reminded me of that. It's Looney. And I'm just like, I really hope we don't go down that path, because she seems like she's kind of figured things out. And I hope she has a bit more discernment than go towards that guy, because he's already giving, like, you know, red flags. So that's what I'm seeing. And, you know, I hope she's just not saying whatever, you know, she thinks the men want to hear. And I hope this is really what she believes, because if it is, then she seems like she has a great head on her shoulders. But if she's really into Andre, then I'm concerned for her discernment and judgment. But it's episode 1 or 2, so we're gonna wait and see. But that's what I'm seeing right now.
Thank you, Sue, for clearing that up. I'm rocking with you. I'm with you on this one. JR. Oh no, Corey, go for it. Corey is ready. Sorry, go for it, Corey. Sorry.
No, what I really wanted to say about the whole situation is when her and Andre and all the rest of the fellas who were really disappointing me is the fact that it just shows how far removed men just don't know how to talk to women.
I agree.
Those questions were just college frat house type questions. You know, do you like any of the men that's sitting here now? You're begging to be chosen. As a man, why are you doing that? So that question there, the question about submission, if you're going to be submissive to someone, if you want someone to be submissive to you, just be the type of man that a woman will submit to. You don't have to ask for permission. That, along with the whole allow a man to be a man, no one's going to allow you to be a man, just to be a man. So to me, the questions that they were giving her, she had to answer them the way that she had to answer them. We got to remember she's playing the game here. So we got to remember also with Andre, she could just be making sure she get that vote. We don't know yet, because the interaction between those two was kind of toward the end. So we didn't get to see if there's really something there, or if she's just trying to play the field right now. So she has the right to do that. So I'm going to give her a little grace until like another episode or two, and then see where her head really is. But just really disappointed with the men. And there was questions, man, the horrible, horrible questions. From the alpha male question, from a man who is not an alpha male, the question about submission, and then the whole question about, you know, you thinking about it's my type, and then do you see anybody here that you like? Just go for yours, man. Don't worry about who else you like. I don't care who else you like. If I'm coming for you, I'm coming for you. Point blank.
Get a nail on the head there, bro. Go for it, Sean.
Andre is a production plant. You know, there's always that person that, you know, plays their role. He does that role. I forget who it was in a previous season, but he was like the host. He was the co-host to Tommy, right? So always asking questions, always stirring the pot a little bit, you know, and I see that's what Andre likes to do. He gets that little curlicue on camera, and then he just gets the bump in his gums. So I think that's what we're going to see as long as he's on the show. But yeah, those questions. Oh, I'm so tired of those basic questions. If somebody asks one more person about they're an alpha, they're a beta, I'm like, come on, can we do better? How about just get to know the people, right? Just get to know the people, right? And that's why I respected Cynthia's answer. It was like, don't pigeonhole me, because it's a woman's elimination. What do you want her to say? I don't like dudes with curls dripping down the front of their head. You're going to isolate somebody, right? You know, so don't ask those types of questions, because how about just let's get to know each other? Or, you know, what are you looking for in a relationship? Like those to me are good questions when you are vetting a woman to potentially date or look to be in a relationship with. Ask her about herself. What are some of the things you've learned? Right? I always love that question. What have you learned? Right? What are some of the things your past relationships have taught you? Right? What's something you working on? Like those are things you want to get to know somebody. Ask them that. They're open-ended questions. And you're gonna get to know a little bit about that person. But like, what's your type? Like, bro, are you trying to be chose? Like, are you trying to be chose out here, or are you trying to get to know the woman? So that for me was like weak sauce questions, broski. I don't know who nominated you to be the question moderator, but yeah, we need a new assignment for you, pal. So, didn't like it. And I think Cynthia did the best she could with the questions that she was handed.
Hear you loud and clear. JR, what are you saying?
Yeah, I have to agree with everyone that said that the questions were pretty much all the buzzwords, all the basic stuff, a lot of fluff. Because the thing is, like, all this talk about alphas and betas and zetas and all this other stuff. Listen, they're gonna leave all that stuff at the front door when they come home anyway. Like, you're not gonna have that, like at work, in your work field. You can be as alpha and go getter and do what you need to do to be successful and make money and all of that stuff. But when you come home to your partner, you're not gonna be domineering. You're not gonna be bossing them about like you're their manager or whatever, or they're on the clock working for you. You're not gonna do that. So and also, I thought the timing, like, she just entered the show this episode. So the type of question you're asking her is based on like how I agree, she answered it well, all things considered, but like that was like all the questions were whack, really. Um, and the whole submission thing. Submission is meant to be when you're married, like when you're husband and wife. That's when submission comes into it, not when you met someone after 5 minutes. You're asking them about that. You don't even know if you're going to end up off the show like dating each other or anything. You don't know anything like that at the moment. So yeah, like the questions could have been a lot better from the guys. Look at Blue. Do you like his eyes? Do you like brown eyes? Do you like it? Just, man, it was just basic. Give her time to, everyone's had a week head start. So give her time to get to know the guys, and eventually she'll gravitate towards the one that she likes. Hopefully he reciprocates that. But yeah, I definitely felt like the questions they could have been a lot better from the guys. If they were serious about their intention on the show, they would have asked better questions. And I did
Just a
actually
note.
notice that some of the guys who are actually more vocal were actually very quiet. It's like
That was a
it was
great
Andre that
point.
took the lead, whereas you've seen Tony, he talks, Blake talks. They're not afraid to speak, but in this instance, they were very quiet. It was Dre orchestrating the whole thing.
Bro, you touched on something. I'd love for you to just expand on that point. That's a really good point. I didn't even deep that myself. That if these guys were actually serious, they would have been choosing much better questions because they have to actually vet this person. Just touch on that point again, just quickly, and just maybe we can expand on it a little bit more. What you actually meant by that, because that's a great point.
Yeah, like, so the thing is, like, when you're getting to know someone, and I'm just talking generically, right? You don't want to ask questions that put them on the spot, in particularly in a group setting, because you're trying to get to know them personally. So stuff that you want to find out personally, you're not going to ask in a setting where you've got 6 other people that could potentially compete for and like the same girl. So I think he kept, like, they tried to keep it surface, but keep it with the trendy words, the trendy Instagram topics, themes that are going around right now. Yeah, are you submissive? Are you an alpha? Are you, But I think when you go on a date with someone, you're not going to ask those type of questions. You're really going to try and vibe with the person and get to know them. And so I think that was a wasted opportunity from the guys, because you could have used it as more of an icebreaker and each guy told the ladies something about them, and then the ladies giving something back, telling them about themselves, something about themselves. And that would have been more of an icebreaker, more of a more social thing. But it just seemed like Dre just took command of that entire scene and was kind of prodding and provoking and not really getting anything serious out of them. And Cynthia's answer, like I said, it was exactly what I think the best she could do at that time. But, she answered it with a generic answer. That's the answer that everybody would want to hear who asked that question. So it's a very leading question as well, right? So yeah, that was my.
You on mute, Coach.
Sorry, Corey, you said you had a follow up. My bad, bro.
yeah. I just want to follow up because two things that I noticed. One, the men's behavior, it shows laziness to me, because they're asking questions to get answers that you would normally find out through the course of a relationship. That's the most exciting part of a relationship, is getting to know your partner. But you want to get these cutthroat, these cut to the chase answers so you can weed people in and out, and it's not fair, really. And then second part is that Andre, Mr. Telling Jeffrey, I only have eyes for you, I only see you. For him to be the one in the front asking all these questions, I'm like, bro, fall back. You got yours. You got you. You just told this woman that she is the one for you, that you only see her, but you're the first one asking these 100 questions to this woman. And that's the problem with us as men. I'm not even bashing men right now. It's just a real reality. Us as men, when we have something good, we just can't be satisfied with that something good. If we see something prettier, a better picture, we got to go for that too. That's the problem. That's why women feel the way they feel about us. So I see it from that scope. But with Andre, he has to make more calculated moves if this is how he's going to play the game. Because, to be honest with you, you can't be on live TV telling a woman that you're my all, you're my everything, I'm going to pay attention to you, and then do that stuff he's doing. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So for me, the whole Andre situation and him coming at her and leading that pack, which is really odd to me. But yeah, that's all.
Definitely hear you on that as well about the Andre situation. Definitely, I think falls into line with what I was saying about his being duplicitous. Because I do remember that scene where he told old girl that, and not only that, but it just ruins your game. It's like, bro, you just told a whole girl that is her and her only, and now she gonna take them words back to the group, and now you're getting done fluffed. Now you can't even try to move to Cynthia. You know what I mean?
On the second episode, he told her
On the
all
second
this on the
episode.
second episode, and then when he said it, I know people go get to that point when he said it, and she came and sat by him, he completely shifted his body. Right after he said it. So my thing is, come on, bro, you are a walking red flag. So hopefully Jeffrey sees that. And I don't know why she got up and left. I don't understand that. She's there having a conversation with him, and another woman comes to sit down, and she got up and left. I don't know if production told her to leave or what. Maybe that's the case, so they can talk. But I don't see that happening. If it was me sitting there and another man comes up, there's no way I'm going to leave. You want to feel like a third wheel, because I'm not leaving. I was here first. So yeah, just odd and awkward behavior from him.
Go for it, Jay.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to, can we talk on that right now?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, because you already said, Black, what I wanted to say about Andre in that situation. But for me, with Jerry in that situation is, yeah, he said what he said, but you took it out on the women. You made it seem like the women is thirsty and all that stuff, where he just obviously showed you that he is not trustworthy in that moment, because he just told you something, then completely turned his body towards the other woman. But you make it seem like it's the other woman for coming up and doing what she's supposed to do. She's new, so she's supposed to be getting to know everybody. I would have my guard up with him more so than the other women, because we're all here to get to know people. So why would you get mad at them saying they're thirsty and all this stuff, and he knows where to find me if he's going to look for me and all that? He don't need to find me, because he looked like he's looking for something else still. Because if you just got through telling me I'm the one and all that, and you clearly open yourself up to somebody else, I done been moved to 2 that quickly. So no, we're good. We're good, sir. We're good. I'm gonna go find my one. We're cool. You and your curl do you. Okay, boo. Go ahead. That's so cute though. Together they will be Jerry Curl. Oh.
There you go. There you go. I like it. I like it. This is the first man I've seen on this show with a hairdo. That was a hairdo he was rocking. That wasn't braids or nothing. It was a straight up hairdo. First time I've ever seen it. Didn't know it was possible.
No. He over here competing with Young Jock now. He giving Young Jock a run for his money now.
We saying, JR, what's your thoughts on Andre then? Andre playing the game, being duplicitous, moving mad. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, Andre definitely duplicitous, bro. Just like everybody noticed, you're sitting there 1 minute telling, I think it was Jeffrey, right? Talking about, yeah, you know, like I'm feeling you, you know, like man, you got my attention and blah 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 blah. And then the moment that was it Cynthia come and sat down next to him, man, he's not only did his body change, his whole energy changed, and it was like, rah, okay, now let me see, like, and I don't blame Jeffrey for getting up and walking off, but at the same time, if she had stayed, it would have put him under pressure because she could have said, look, you just told me 5 seconds ago what you felt about me. And now, as soon as someone else come and sat down, like you turned your head. How does that bode well when these ladies are trying to look for a potential partner in the show and they see that type of behavior? That means that, you know, if you're out with them one day and you see that fat booty or you see the, you know, something that looks attractive, you're gonna look over there and your girl's right next to you, type thing. That's the energy that I got from that. He would feel no way about doing that. So yeah, I think our friend with the man bun and the Superman curl is and the throw at the back, you know, he's definitely one to watch.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Don't insult the people with man bun. That was a baby bun. Okay, that was not a man bun. We're not gonna do that, JR. We're not gonna do that. That was
Okay,
not
baby bun. But he missed a bit. He missed a bit at the front, and the back too, right? But yeah, I just think that it's not a good look what he did because, you know, I'm quite certain that when it comes to the security aspect of what the women may be looking for, that doesn't give them the security that he's gonna have their best interest and their attention. Like he's not gonna be focused on them. The moment something walks past and turns his head, he's looking straight, right? So yeah, I not a fan of what he did there at all.
Yeah, I think with Andre, you know, I think the reason I'm picking up on it is because speaking prematurely is a problem. Like, if you speak prematurely, you cause issues not only for yourself, but for other people too. If you like Jeffrey and you think she's amazing, just tell her, listen, I think you're amazing. Do you know what I mean? I think we're really cool. I'm really getting on with you. I'm really loving where this is going. But then when you start making definitive lines and drawing definitive lines with somebody, you're going to have to hold on to that because now you've made a definitive lines. You can still be appreciative and complimentary without actually drawing hard lines. And when someone has trouble, being able to manage and temper how they feel with someone so early on that they can change their mind quickly, you're kind of a dangerous person because at any given time you can shift and move. At any given time you could change your mind. And it doesn't promote any consistency. It doesn't promote the person's longevity either. So in this particular point, we're talking about dating, you're looking a bit suspect. Now, of course, the ladies can't see everything we're seeing. So we're getting to see this aspect of him being duplicitous a little bit with this line. And then, quickly moving on to Cynthia. Of course, this is a game. We know conversations happen behind the scene. But for you to come on the camera and be like, it's pretty much you all the way through, and then you go and do what you do with Cynthia, where you look like you want to be heavily invested. It's looking a bit suspect. Do you know what I mean? Right? It's looking a bit suspect. So I'm gonna say, at the end of the day, for any man out there, if you're really looking to be serious about relationships, temper the way you talk. Check your tongue, because it can get you in trouble. You know what I mean? Don't now turn around and be like, I don't know how old girl felt the way she felt. You know why she felt the way she felt. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you've been saying things, leading her on with your words, you know what it does. Now, of course, you might not have said indefinitely that I'm going to be your man, but we know the game. We're not foolish here. If you're real about wanting to have a relationship, this is what people who want to have a relationship. For those of you who want to play, you continue doing what you're doing. All right, if that's you, okay. But for those of you really looking for a relationship, I don't want to hear complaints later on about women are not this, women are not that, when we're not doing the bare basics. This conversation that you had with Jeffrey should have been like, you know what, I really think you're really cool. I think you're amazing. We get on. We've got so many things in common. I'd love to see where this is going to go. That's somebody who understands that it's not finished yet. And if it is finished, then let me finish and go about and collect her then. Right? Because you're out here telling the man them in the cave that it's a wife. If you're ready for a wife, well, I'm thinking to myself, you start calling her wife and this and that. I'm looking. The next step I'm looking for is for you to get off the tracks, get off the train and say, boys, it's my stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm looking to see. It's giving me very much Laverne from a few seasons back, when he was saying that, what's her name again? Her name's gone out of my head now. Ace. That Ace is wifeable. All that big talk, and none of them finished with it. So, I'm saying, like, actions and words got to be put together, but don't speak prematurely. Temper your tongue. Know there's certain times when you're talking about an individual, you can end up leading them down a path when there's no need to. Just say you like the person, you think they're cool, you love to get along with them, and you love to get to know them more. Simple. She knows you're interested. Because what it sounds like, you're trying to secure, and sometimes when men them are not really good at the finalizing the deal, they try to do too much, over trying to secure the thing, promising things they can't finish with. You know what I mean? So just watch that a little bit. That's why for me, Andre, I feel like he's playing a game, and plus some of the questions he was asking with Cynthia and the guys group was not on. I didn't like it at all, to be honest. What are you saying, Sean? What's your thoughts on Andre?
Yeah, I just pretty much what everyone else said, and I just have a very hard time taking him seriously. I just feel like he's just entertaining us, and I think that's more of his role here, because I don't take him serious. I think his questions don't really have depth. I think his interactions with the women are very surface level. And I know it's early on in the process, but again, I think he, I think he is not serious. And listen, he's in an age where technically you want to be, right? He's touching 40. So I'm not sure. But that's my thoughts on him. And I think that we'll just sit back and continue to be entertained. We can come up with different names for whatever that curl is dripping down the front of his head. And we'll have a good time with that. Somebody said soul glow, and that was the best. Somebody in the chat said the soul glow. And I can't get that out of my head. So that's that.
You know what would be really dope, though? What would be really dope for this show is if we have a couple on there that lasts about 4, maybe 5 episodes, and then they just leave. They leave and they have to announce, hey, so-and-so is no longer on the show. So-and-so is no longer on the show. They feel like they found the one, so they decided to just end the process. That would be dope for this show. Because the show...
What's her face did that, remember? Cornelius and...
They did?
Camille. Yeah,
I missed that. I missed it.
And I don't know exactly what one it was. They left off with each other. Yeah, they did that.
Okay.
And we saw them in DC. They're still thriving and surviving.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of did. Not the way Corey's saying, like, I pick my one and we move on.
Yeah.
They had to get voted off. One had to get voted off.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. Like to leave, to say, okay, you know what? Hey, I'm feeling you. You feeling me? Hey, we don't need this show anymore, because that shows right there that, okay, you came on there for the right reason. It wasn't for publicity. It wasn't for you to put a name out there for yourself and this other. Just go through the process. Just, you know, it's real love. You found it. You was ready to do it. So you now you're gone. So I think that would be dope. But just thinking aloud.
And the reason why they did it, yeah, Cornelius got voted off, but once he got voted off, there was absolutely no way Camille was going to stay on. So it's like she did the honorable thing. They found each other. That's what they were there to do. And you know, why stay on another week and get voted off? And you know, the guy that she liked, long gone. So, but do I see that happening this season? I think it's still too early for me to even see who's going to connect and who isn't. The curveball's added a different dimension, so definitely intrigued.
Yeah, I hear that still. I mean, it's obviously, like I said, I think also part of it is it's part of a game. I do want to be fair to every couple that, you know what I mean, like it's part of the game. If you look where now, where we see Clifton and Joy are, they're now on LMADC. It's a game. You stay long enough to own. I'm sure the producer like stay on, let them see you expose yourself. That's why some people will not leave, because ulterior motive. And I'm not even mad at it. I understand the game, but I understand what you're saying as well, Corey. If you're here for the love thing, you want to get in, you want to get out. Do you know what I mean? Because as for me, if I got my babes and it's done, I'm done, bro. Like I'm not trying to. I'm like I'm like man, them. I'm out. I found my babes. I'm not even trying to play around. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't need to play any more games that's gonna get me into any more trouble. I don't want any women to be involved. I don't want to play none of that stuff. But then, of course, some people are able to tell people, listen, we're together now, so we're just gonna play the game. It is what it is. It be like that. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, but I definitely hear what you said as well, Corey. I definitely work with that as well. Another point that was on the episode that I'd love to discuss. I'm gonna go to my list. So the guys had their list in terms of who they were liking. So the list now is Mercedes, Morgan, and Jeffrey seem to be up there, and obviously the new girl, a little bit Cynthia as well. But Mercedes, Morgan, and Jeffrey. I didn't get to see much of Mercedes today, but they honorably mentioned her, saying she's smart, she's intellectual. They love her energy, her vibe. Mark Anthony was really trying to put his foot in as well, his bidding by telling her he understands his lifestyle. You know, and you know, so it looks like these three are kind of taking the lead in terms of the men's top picks. I wanted to see if you guys had any thoughts around Mercedes, Morgan, Jeffrey, why they might be top picks, why the men might have chosen them. Have you seen something? There's something that you've noticed you liked about them, etc., etc. What's your thoughts, gentlemen? So I probably should choose
Okay.
one.
All right. I mean, I was a little. I just finished talking, so I wanted. Okay, but so one, Mercedes, I'm a little disappointed. I think Mercedes is pretty. I think she's a beautiful woman. You know, I think the same thing the men think, but I kind of have to give it a side eye a little bit, because she was starting to feel Febreze, and his whole demeanor was like off-putting. So I'm trying to understand why were you starting to be attracted to Febreze? So for that reason, I'm kind of give it a side eye. When it comes to Morgan, though, the thing that Morgan and Mercedes have in common, I would like to speak about both of them, is that they're attractive, but yet they're humble at the same time, versus a Corvaya. You know, Corvaya is attractive, but she's, hey, I'm gorgeous, I'm this, I'm a bombshell. You know, she's giving that vibe. So for those two, what I can see from them is that they are very attractive, yet they're very humble, and that makes them even more attractive to men, in my opinion. So for those who, yes, and then of course with Cynthia. I mean, they're going to be attracted to Cynthia. The answer she gave, we all agree that they were safe answers that she was giving. So yes, they're going to be attracted to her on that note. Jonique, I don't know if they said a lot about her, but those three, those three that I mentioned, yeah, I understand why, but for those reasons.
Appreciate it, Corey. JR, why do you think the men have put Mercedes, Morgan, Jeffrey at the top of the list, the Christmas tree list?
Okay, for me, it's pretty simple. All three of them are attractive, as are the other women. But the thing that kind of puts them ahead probably is the fact that they're quite easy to get along with, quite easy to have conversation with. There hasn't been any um, attempts to check or combat someone, or they're not putting themselves over someone, looking down on people. So for the most part, they're not, you know, they're not problematic. They're quite easy to be around from what I see so far. Um, they're very different, but they seem to be the type of lady that could be a good match for some of these guys if they are on their game enough to want to find something long term. So that's why I think that none of them have been mentioned in the bottom like that. I think Jeffrey actually was mentioned by one of the guys. But for the most part, Mercedes is pretty much standing out from the others. Morgan closely behind. With Febreze though, and Mercedes' attraction to him. Remember, Mercedes said she's what air stewardess or something, right? So she travels. She also mentioned, when Mark Anthony was talking about being a pilot, talked about how that's actually something that she likes. She's attracted to someone that travels or is more worldly. So I think that may be the attraction to Febreze. But yeah, it's still early days, and we'll see how it pans out.
Sean, Morgan, Mercedes, Jeffrey, Cynthia. Why are the men drawn to these women? What is it about them?
I told you I was struggling because I had to go to the website to see who's who. So I think definitely Jeffrey is somebody I've seen a lot on the screen, and I think her personality, she's very sweet for sure. I think that she seems agreeable, right? So she seems like she is easy to, converse with, easy to talk to, open. So I think that goes a long way. And she's a very attractive woman as well. I think Mercedes is the same. I can't really think about a lot of too much that she said that is like stood out. But pretty girl, she reminds me a little bit of Looney, a little bit. But I think that she seems to be friendly, outgoing, and I think that goes a long way, right? Because depending on the setting, sometimes it's not always easy to approach women. But if you have a woman that's friendly, a woman that has a beautiful smile, I think that goes a long way to her attractiveness and together with her personality. So I definitely think for me, those two stand out. Jeffrey, sometimes I don't know I forget who it was that she likes a lot, but I find when she sits with him, her voice gets very high pitched and squeaky. Sometimes that can go a little one way or another, but hey, listen, that's just me being a little bit picky. But yeah, when that voice goes a little squeaky and it's like, it's a little annoying to me. To me. Somebody might like it. I'm sure many men, it's appealing, it's endearing, it's feminine, whatever, but I'm just saying, a couple of times she started going up in that octave, it just drove me a little bit nuts. But she's a pretty woman. Yeah, so that's all I have. I'm sorry.
Bro, the maddest thing is I was thinking the exact same thing, so I'm not even mad at you, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I definitely hear that. All right, but yeah, I agree with you guys. I definitely think I'll be honest. So I know people want to see. So this is Mercedes. Mercedes is this person. This is Mercedes, guys. This is Morgan. Okay, this is Jeffrey. Okay. We don't have the picture of the new girls because Owen don't know how to do that. But you know, I think the gentlemen have chosen these women. I think at first go, beauty is going to always play a big part in everything. I think as time goes on, they're going to find out these women's personalities, whether they actually can work with these women, because everyone's got their representative. And so it's just like the men. You know, when next week, when there's a men's turn, I'm sure the ladies will come up with a top 3 and will be saying the same thing, right? It's the good physical looks that get you in the room first. Then after that, when people get time to spend around you, they start realizing what kind of characteristics, personality, what values you hold, what ambitions you hold, what goals you hold, and whether these are going to be in alignment with what they actually want. So for now, Mercedes, Morgan, Jeffrey, even Cynthia, very beautiful, striking women, definitely going to draw you in. But are you going to keep the men's attention? That's the key question. Now, I don't know if Seaway and Jay have any additions to this conversation in terms of Mercedes, Morgan, Jeffrey. If not, then I'll shift it to Corvair's madness, because she's out here telling people to spoil her. So I'm sure that will strike up a conversation that's needed in 2023, which we've been having in 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018. We've been having it since the millennium turn. But we're going to have that conversation again in 2023 because we clearly haven't learned. All right, so let's work a bit of Corvair then. My earphone just dropped out. And her rubbing apparently Mark Anthony the wrong way, Corvaya. She told another man to told a man last week to move out and get his own house, or she won't find him attractive. Damn, I thought someone was drinking alcohol there. I thought it was a hard night. And then Corvaya literally saying this week, you know what? You know, she basically wants to be spoilt. You know, she wants to be spoilt by her man. You know what I mean? And I want to ask that question: is there a problem with this statement? Is there a problem with this statement? I don't know. Is there a problem with this statement, ladies and gentlemen? I know the men have spoken a little bit, so let me get to the ladies first a little bit. Give you guys some time to jump in.
Yeah.
Is there a problem with this statement? Did you find the statement problematic? Give us a perspective. Go for it, Seaway.
Do you have that clip or no? Do you have any clips?
I don't know if I have that clip. I can try and find it for you in the meantime. I can, but but the site is a bit mad, so I can't. It'll be popping up shit, and I can't even do that. But yeah, yeah.
Coach, what you been doing in Ghana?
Nothing, but do you know what it is? Mr. World Premiere site, bro. Mr. World Premiere site, bro. He's got too many pop-ups. Too many of those pop-ups, bro. They be popping up just like that, bro. I don't need that on my resume. So I'm gonna try and find that. I'm gonna try and get you a clip in the meantime.
Well, Jay, you can go there.
I'm gonna get you a clip in the meantime.
Again, like last week, it's not a problem stating what you want, the boundaries, things, and all this stuff. It's your delivery again. And sis does not have the best delivery. Like when you get into your confessional and just saying stuff like, well, if you can't afford me, just say you can't afford me. Well, it sounds like you're coming off as a gold digger. It doesn't sound like you're looking for love. You just sound like you're looking for a pocketbook to love. Like, I don't know what you want from a person when you keep coming off in that manner. And so I think for her, it's more so of how she approaches a situation, how she actually comes out about it, and how she gives off her feedback from whatever is said in response to however she says it. I don't see it's a problem. If you want something, closed mouths don't get fed. So if you want to be spoiled, you might have to mention, hey, I like to be spoiled. Now, is a person just going to spoil you without knowing you? There's some people out there that might. Now, they got their own agenda for why they want to do it. If you were along with that agenda, you know what I'm saying? I.e. Febreze, therefore, all for it, go for it. But people is not about to be putting you on no boats every week. They're not about to be paying for your nails and hair done every week, all this stuff. If you were doing it, great. If a man comes along and wants to do it, great. You know, bless your heart that you find somebody like that, but you just can't demand these things from a man. You know, you have to literally give him reasons why he want to do it. And I'm sorry, if I feel the same way as a woman. I'm not just going to be cooking for you because you're a man. I'm cooking because I'm hungry. Now, if you have the benefit of eating because I'm hungry, great. Now, if you become my man and you're worth it, I will cook for you, fix your plate, and do all of these things. And that's just how I feel. Now, there are, like I said, there's some people out there that would do it off jump. You find that man, you in luck. Now, will he come with his own prices and requests and things like that? Probably so. You just have to go along with it, or y'all find yourselves going separate ways. And I just feel like with her, I don't have no problem with her stating what she wants, stating her boundaries. I think a lot of it is just the way she continues to do it. The way it presents itself so far is coming off as, you need to take care of me. I'm looking for a pocketbook, not a man.
Yeah, I think people have to just be realistic. If you could consistently get a guy that's putting you on yachts every week, and it's gonna spoil you, you wouldn't be on this show. And I think that's where people kind of need to be realistic. And then also you have to know your audience, and you have to be able to read your audience. And it's like, hey, if you're talking to a whole bunch, you're talking to a bunch of guys who are making a lot of money, and you say certain things, it may not be that strange or off-putting. But if you're saying to a bunch of people who haven't been on a yacht ever, and you're saying you need to be on a yacht once a week, it's like, are you knowing your audience? Who are you actually talking to? What are they capable of doing and providing? I also think in my experience, men that can do for you don't want to be told that they have to do that. And the ones that don't mind you doing that are like Febrezes, who want a more transactional Diddy Carisha type relationship. And so I just feel like people like Corvaya need to understand which lane they want to be in. If they want to do Diddy Carisha, then go with Febreze. You can demand your yachts. Febreze can demand his sexual favors. You guys can do that exchange, and we don't care. But if you actually want a nice guy who maybe can provide for you, he's not going to want to be told off the gate that is what you're requiring. That's off-putting. And you're not going to get what you need with that. And that's just kind of my thing. I want everybody to get what they want out of life. And I think a lot of times they're doing things that are counter to their actual goals. And the other thing is, when Corvaya had just walked in, I really thought that she was going to be like the top pick. And it really goes to show, like, your personality really does matter. Because I think her personality has, really pushed a lot of dudes to the side. I do think that she handled at the end her potential rejection very well. I think her confidence kind of had her handle. I think so. I think she didn't have a bad attitude. I think she took it pretty well. But I think she's not going to give what she wants going about it this way. I also think only maybe one or two of the dudes on this show have money like that. And one of them appears to be Febreze. And I don't know about the rest of them. But I think maybe one more. So she needs to figure out if what she's requiring is even present on this show.
Yeah. Appreciate it. That's real. I got you the clip, Wade, so you can have a look. This was what happened.
No, you can't. A lot of it has to do with finances. Do you feel like you would spoil the woman in your life?
Man, here's the thing with spoil. I think I give to you what you earn.
You're scaring me. Do I really?
No, obviously, I don't want to get a copyright, but I'll play the clip after. But that was the initial conversation. It's actually worse than I actually realized. Fucking hell, it's really worse. When I first listened to it, it wasn't that bad. Go for it, Jay.
Can I say something? Like, okay, so I'm the same way with a kid. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with his statement. I know it sounds crazy listening to it, but when you're a kid and you're doing everything you want, I feel like a parent should be able to give you all that you are asking for because you're doing everything right. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds weird in a relationship to say if you earn it or if you're doing everything right, because it's like, oh, now you're controlled. It sounds almost controlling. But if you're in a relationship for all the right reasons, yes, I see no reason for a person not to be able to spoil you because they love you. They're going to naturally want to do those things for you if they have the means to do it. And even if they don't have the means, they're going to do whatever, spoil you the best they can, you know, when you're both in a loving relationship. But just to think that, my thing is like, just to think a person's supposed to do it just because you are you. And that's how it comes off to me from her. I'm me, so you must spoil me. Like, you're cute, but there's a lot of other cute women out there. You're nice, but there's a lot of nice women out there that don't request as much. So I would just kind of ease up on it because you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. That's how I just look at it.
I'll play a little bit more of the clip, and then you guys can jump in your thoughts again.
You have to prove that I'm worthy of being spoiled, or can you not just pick up on it?
Nah, spoiling is not a good thing. So it does send off a red flag. I don't want to say it, but it's kind of gold digger vibes.
Okay. Who would like to tackle this one? Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I just think it's a little too early on to even make that determination. And if you're so upfront about financially what you feel like you need, I think that's a problem. It sounds like to me you can't take care of yourself, and or you are just looking for somebody to take care of you. And 100%, I mean, Seaway nailed it, right? You know, even if you have means, nobody wants to go into the situation like that. You know, I'll tell you, like, and maybe not all men feel this way, but I think like as men, we like to be seduced into something, right? You know, I don't think, you know, even that's why they have the girlfriend experience with women who offer their services for pay, right? Because no one wants it to feel so transactional. And I think like she's leading with the transaction, right? And if that's the kind of relationship you want, just like Seaway was saying, then you kind of need to know how you're going to navigate that with that particular person, and know your audience and know who the person is before you. So just like she said to him when he responded, when he said you have to earn it, and she said, don't you think you should know? Well, you should know, as a woman who wants to be taken care of and spoiled, what kind of man is going to be able to do that, and what you need to do to be able to get that man to do that, right? Because if I got it, maybe I'll give it to you, but it's not going to be under those terms, right? It's not going to be, well, I want to be spoiled and you don't see the value in me. No, because I'm just meeting you. We're just having a conversation. You could tell me anything, right? But it's not until we get down to it and I see what our relationship looks like, then I'm going to know what you can really bring to the hypothetical table that all gets us tussling too, right? So you want money from me, you want to be taken care of and spoiled by me. I need to see what am I going to get out of that? And one, it can't just be you telling me straight off the back because you think you're pretty and you think you're good looking that this is going to command a man to give you their money. It does not work that way. And again, I mean, Seaway had all the points. If you could do that, if you could garner that out in the world, you wouldn't be on Ready to Love. So I just feel like, and this is why I kind of like, where I didn't agree, Seaway, was the part when she was eliminated. People don't look at elimination the right way. And for her, she led with, well, I'm this and I'm that and I'm da, 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 da. You could be confident, but you don't have to be arrogant. You don't have to be obnoxious, because clearly all of that glitter and gold wasn't enough for the guys to not have you in the bottom two, right? So there was something lacking. So what are you not connecting with the men? What are you looking to learn on your love journey that's going to help you get better outcomes? Because if all you're looking about is what you can bring, what a man can give to you, then you're already off on the races down to nowhere, to singledom, right? So what do you want to learn? I didn't hear any of that. Like, what's the qualities in a man that are going to help to make a good relationship? not how he's going to pay for you, because you can get any dude to do that, right? But do you really want love? And that's what I'll land my plane.
I will say, Sean, I do think that part of the ending of the date was delusional and in the same line of delusion. I meant that she didn't take her rejection angry. Like I've seen a lot of women who feel like they all of a sudden they start spazzing and getting angry. I think she kept it very lighthearted. I think her confidence, whether we think it's delusion, not delusion, rooted in fact or fiction, it kept her being like, I'm not gonna lose my cool over whether you guys want me or not. And I thought that part she took well. But I do believe that her level of confidence, I think, is affecting her, the way she needs to see herself in reality, and kind of her reach on this particular show.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. But I think there's a little bit more left of the clip, and then someone else can jump in for it. I think there's a little bit left of the clip.
How has the process been for you?
I told a lie. There isn't. Okay, cool. Who wants to jump in next?
I'll go.
Yeah.
The thing about transactions, is it's something that benefits both parties, right? Someone's gonna do something or give something to get something in return. Corvaya didn't say not one time what she was going to do in return for being spoiled. It's all about her and what she wants, and what she wants the guys to do for her, and all of that stuff. And the reason why I know it's something that is very much at the forefront of her, of what she's looking for in a guy, is because it's not the first time. She had a conversation with two of the guys last week, and that's when it came out about Lyndon living with a flatmate and all the rest of it. She immediately, as soon as she heard that, she was like, nope, and focus on the other guy, right? Listen to what he had to say. Even today, on the recent episode, when she turns up at the date and she sees Lyndon there, her little confessional was like, listen, I don't even know what the hell Lyndon's doing here, because I already know that I've got no business with this guy. Like, there's nothing I want to hear from this man. Why? Because he got a flatmate, right? So she already sees him as broke or lesser financially. So I think she is deluded if she thinks that that's going to be easy to find. Because if she is looking for the type of guy that's very frivolous with his money on any of the girls that he's dealing with, especially so early, why does she think that she's going to be the only one that he does that with? It's not. Like, there's other girls that are out there that probably would be not as focused on the finances, and he would treat them to more stuff. Men tend to value the money that they make, to the point where they don't necessarily want to throw it all away on a potential relationship, especially when they know that the person is only focused on their finances. They tend to be a bit more guarded with it. Sensible guys I'm talking about, not the guys that have money and have more money than sense. Sensible guys are very prudent with how they move and what they spend their money on. And like I said, she's not even giving transactional vibes. So I agree with some of the comments. I think the fact that Febreze is very established in his field. I don't know if you've seen his IG, but he's very established in his field. He makes money, he does shows, he travels, all that other stuff.
Is he really 40?
No, man, listen, I don't know about that. He's Haitian, so we don't know how old he really is. He might be doing the old like some of those tricks with the doctoring of the documents and stuff like that. Who knows? He doesn't look his age. He does look much older. But again, she doesn't. I don't think, if she's after finances, she's not going to care about that. She's not going to care. Like, he probably is close to his pension and things like that. That's more money for her if he is the type of guy that's going to spoil her. So, I think I would be very surprised if she took Lyndon's advice at the end, because he gave her some nuggets, he gave her some tips, some feedback. He's heard all the feedback from the men in the deliberation and had to deliver to her that she's got a chance to stay. But look, instead of saying what you want and what I deserve, say, I would like to find a man that would provide X, Y, and Z. Right? Because what she's done is, by putting out the financial thing straight away, then she's, yeah, like, she'll be lucky if she finds it, but she's already marked herself as someone that's out for finances only and not really prepared to give anything back. And that may be a turnoff, or that may harm her going forward the week after next when it's the ladies' lounge. So, but I doubt she's going to take Linda's advice. She doesn't rate him, so why would she take his advice?
Which one was it her that said that Febreze can't even have her phone number? Which lady
That
said
was Jerry. That was Jerry.
Jeffrey.
Okay.
Jeffrey.
That was
Oh,
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Sorry. Am I saying Jerry?
We know what you meant, Jerry.
We know what you meant.
These names is just.
I definitely can't talk.
Yeah.
So, for me, when it comes to Corvaya, we have to get to a point where we have to understand she's not going to change, because she's had enough men in her life that feeds into what she wants, right? So she's going to take Lyndon's advice. It's like, okay, I spoke to half of the men here. They're dumb. They're crazy. Let me go speak to the other half with the same personality. So I think that's what she's going to do. Now, when it comes to the spoil part, I think she made a statement. She said, I want a man to do the things for me that I can do for myself. Okay. You're a digital strategist. Okay. The medium, the average in Florida for a digital strategist, around 62K. All right. Not saying there's going to be absolutely to the T, but okay, around that realm. She listed a lot of things that she likes to do, a lot of things she enjoys doing. So it's not true that she can have her own lifestyle and then on top of that be able to do the things she wants to do, just living day to day in Miami. What the cost of living is crazy. So my thing is that it doesn't make sense. It has a come save me type of vibe to it. It has, hey, I can do my own makeup. I can look good in a dress. I can get a nice wig or get a nice lace front, whatever the case is. It look pretty, and then present this sort of lifestyle to men that says, hey, I'm worth you doing all of these things for. Because when it really boils down to it, when Mark Anthony made that statement about, okay, show me, what you have, and then I'll spoil based upon that. She didn't feel like that was necessary. Hey, in the past, it hasn't been a problem. I just show up looking like me, and I'm good. I'm in there. So to me, it just gives that vibe that she's not going to change. Within the next 2 episodes, I think she's going to be gone. For the women being eliminated, just because I don't think that she's going to change, and the men are pretty much made up their mind when it comes to her. So all in all, Corvaya, I just don't think it's there. That's it.
I just want to add just one thing. I think at 31, when she's sitting across from a potential pilot, it's really unfortunate that sometimes we don't think long term. And she had the opportunity to actually get to know and date someone who could be on her level and actually grow together financially, so they both could do all the things that she wants to do. They're a similar age, a place where they can grow in their career. And instead, she wants a ready-made situation. And I think that's unfortunate, because a lot of times men will want to do for a woman that grew with them. I'm not saying struggle love. I'm not saying support, put money on a dude's books. I ain't saying fund his rap career, but I'm talking about like y'all really are on the, growing together. That's so much more important than you at 31 already trying to find a man that's already going to be putting you on a yacht. So I felt like that was a missed opportunity. And again, not knowing her audience, but she's looking across from the most attractive guy on the show. And honestly, one of the most attractive guys I've seen on the show, period. and a potential pilot and someone who doesn't seem problematic, and she talked about he need to spoil her. I mean, maybe he will, but I don't think that was the type of dude that she had the latitude to be asking for that right off the bat without even knowing him. So I don't know. I just thought that was unfortunate because they, you know, maybe he'll grow with my girl. What is it? Mercedes. I liked her better anyway. But yeah, I thought that was a missed opportunity.
Playing devil's advocate though, just like Febreze. If I don't put it out there, I'm not gonna get it. So none of these people on the show might be with it, but somebody gonna see her and say, I'll pay your bills. I'll drink your bathwater. I'll do all these things. Now, would it be what she want? I don't know. But they gonna hear what she wants, and that's they're gonna give her what she's saying she wants. So
right, Jay, and that's what she wants.
Or not. But I'm curious. Not curious, but I think like the comment she made last week, I didn't have a problem with it. You know, and even as she started with this week talking about wanting to be spoiled, I didn't necessarily have a problem with it at the very surface level until she started talking more and explaining how she felt like she was deserving of certain things right off the bat without the person getting to know you, and then there being some level of reciprocity, and the way I'm going to spoil you, no, it's not going to be the same way you spoil me. But hey, listen, you know, I like to be spoiled by my man, but trust, I'm going to do some spoiling too in my own way, right? You know, like I need to hear how it's going to benefit me, because you sitting up there looking how you looking ain't benefiting nobody. And you talked about, you know, you made the connection with Diddy and Carisha, right? Carisha gets spoiled, but it ain't just because she's pretty. It's not just because she's pretty. She has a very high bandwidth for things that some women won't. And we can fill in the gap to what that bandwidth looks like, but her bandwidth is a lot different. And she's hot. And she's popping. And guess what? Carisha can also take care of herself. So things that Diddy are doing for her are bonuses, right? So I just think that's where Corvaya messes up. Is it's like me, and you just gonna get. But what am I getting in return? You know, because if we're gonna be transactional, let's talk transactions. Because I don't got a problem with transactional, right? Or stating what you think you want, but I need to know what's on the other end of that for me. And again, I think devil's advocate, I know a lot of people felt a little, not a lot, but some people did feel some type of way about how she was talking about a dude having their own place. I think that makes total sense in a dating scenario at 30 plus and being ready to love. I think it's very difficult to be ready to love and have roommates. Can it happen? Sure, absolutely it can happen, right? But I think there's nothing wrong with the woman saying, I live by myself. I want the dude that I'm with to live by themselves. I don't have a problem with that. I think it stepped on old boy's toes because he's in a transitionary phase in his life, you know? And hey, listen, I understand, because if I was there, I might be, you know, I might feel some way. I might feel like my corn was stepped on.
Sean, you see how you ended that statement right there? I think that's where she continues, and that's where people have the problem. It's not that she says, you know, I want you to live by yourself because I'm living by myself. She adds on extras like, well, figure it out, and all these other little things like that. And that's where it does, the problem creates. It's no problem saying, I want these things. You don't have these things. I'm going my way. But it's just like that little thing where we said earlier, oh, he ugly. Now we broke up. Now I got to tell the whole world he ugly. Why you got to do that? You was with him. It's that same thing. That same scenario is, if he don't have what you want, I don't have to continue beating him down because he don't have it. Let me go on and find who has it. Unless I like you. That would be the only reason why I'm picking on you for not having it. Now, if that's all my deal breaker and I don't want it, I'm gone. I'm gone. I don't have to say anything else to you. Oh, okay. Well, you don't have what I need. Have a nice day. Thank you. It's the rudeness after that I think a lot of people have with her, as far as her stating what she wants. It's not that she states it.
Is this a Miami thing with the roommate situation? Because I don't know if it was just weird to me. Like in New York, I know everybody had a roommate for most of their 20s and a lot of their 30s and whatever. But I also found the statement to be kind of random. It felt like an unnecessary like proclamation. Like, I don't want a man with a roommate. I'm not saying like, you know, she cannot date a man with a roommate, but it just seemed like an odd statement to make. And I do think the weirder thing was just kind of the judgment that came after it. If she would just say, I want a man who lives by himself, that's it. Because, you know, I want to be able to walk around his house, I don't know, with no clothes or something like that, whatever you want to say. But it's like, I want a man who lives by himself, because if you live with somebody, you're a bum. It's like that extra, like, you're a bum to it that just didn't need to be said. Miami. Oh, okay. Well, maybe Miami is expensive. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, I think it's a thing. I mean, I've heard from other women that they've, you know, that can be an experience. And I think that's where that term hobosexual comes from, you know, people that are in transition, and then they just, maybe that was her experience, right? So she's saying, and again, I'm not justifying her comments, because after a certain point, it got rude. But I think that was the thing. It's like, you know, because if you ain't got your own place, then that means that where you gonna stay? If she lives by herself and y'all in a relationship, 9 times out of 10, you gonna be staying at her place. And I can understand from a woman's perspective that you don't feel, you know, that's not feeling financially secure if your dude got to stay with you all the time because he got a roommate situation. And similar to you, Seaway, I love that, right? You know, she want to walk around in her t-shirt and her panties, and I support that. So we got to get by ourselves. We're gonna have to get it together. And old boy needs to figure something out. You know, I understand things happen. Sometimes you get put out of your place, but you know, it could be a plan. What's the plan? You know, I understand that maybe not today. Today, you're not in the ideal living situation, but what's the plan 6 months from now? Because you got to have a plan. And but you setting up on ready to love, right? And that means you from a viewer's perspective are looking for a relationship, a serious one that could lead to potential. And if you still got roommates, I'm sorry, at 30 plus, that's not sounding stable.
Yeah, you know what though? What I didn't like though is I think she tried to kind of like sabotage Lyndon. When she met with the ladies, she specifically said, you know, ladies, how do you feel about Lyndon having a roommate? But you know, I mean, that wasn't said in a group setting. She didn't say, how do you feel about Blake saying the 87%? She didn't say that, which was said in a group setting. So to me, if he didn't have that conversation with those other women about his living situation, she just put that out there because it wasn't something for her. And I don't think that was right. I don't think she should have did that, you know. And then, you know, when she met with Lyndon to be doing an elimination, she made a statement. She said that roommates give her broke vibes. And I want to say something about that because she's not the only woman who feels that way. But I think a lot of people should look at what a man has and does a little bit differently because, you know, women don't like to date. Some women don't like to date men who have older cars with no car notes. Some women don't like to date men who live in apartments instead of a house because it says something about their status, says they're broke, but really in actuality, they could be saving money, which is more money they would spend on dates and spend on you. So you have to look at it in different ways. So I get it. No woman wants to have a broke man. I get that. I understand that. But like you said, Sean, you have to stick around a little bit longer, ask some clarifying questions. You might find that this man sitting on the jackpot. He just spent his money on what he's spending on. You don't know because you haven't had the conversation. So don't write him off so soon.
Now, again, I'll go with Corey saying, but last week, in her defense, I'm playing devil's advocate for her too. But I will still hold her like we had to help Katie in before. But Lyndon was giving excuses like Devin was about the kid situation on why he ain't moved, why he ain't did this, he ain't give her a plan. So that's kind of a red flag on, hey, you know what I'm saying? So in her defense, I can kind of see where she went with the figure it out, but it didn't have to come out. It could have stayed in her head. So that's the same thing like last season when we gave Katie and the flag for going so hard on Devin. It's like either you know some of the situation, but you don't know the full story. So like you said, Corey, give him some grace on that. And I'll go back to my original statement on this is he might not be the one for you, but he can be a friend that leads you to your one. So don't write him off in such a negative way. You might want to just keep him in the back pocket because he might be that bridge to that man that can pay all of your bills. He might be in circles with those people. So sometimes you got to just keep people close, even though you don't feel them in that way.
And I just want to add these two little things. And I always try I said I'm going to get on here and I'm just going to be a nicer, toned down, tamed down version of myself. But I just need to be, we got to be real. First of all, let's just break it down, right? If you already, and listen, I don't agree with shaming a dude or anything like that. No. But for me, you got to have stability. If you told me your landlord abruptly told you to leave, that's already a red flag. Because what was in your lease? If anybody's ever gotten an apartment, you have a lease, and the lease has a term, whether it's 6 months, whether it's 1 year, whether it's 2 years, whatever that term is. It's an agreement between your landlord and you for the most part, right? Now I get it, there's one-off situations, but there's a lease, right? So if you have a lease, then the person can't just tell you to leave unless it's an informal situation, right? So informal situation, also, again, as a man, it's a little, I want to understand more about that. Next situation is, so from there, you went to live with the roommate. Okay. Next, you haven't had time to figure it out because you work a lot. Lots of red flags accumulating. And we got to hold people accountable. I know there's editing. I know. But if we're just looking at what we're seeing and we're going to break that down point for point, that is problematic. And again, I've already spoke out about Corvaya and some of the things I think are problematic about her approach. However, that scenario by itself, there's lots of flags. Right? And I don't think she needed to give him room to say her plan or ask the right question. As a man, I'm sorry. As a man, if somebody calls me out and says, hey, listen, Sean, this is an area, buddy, right? Right? I'm going to say either, listen, this is the plan, or I know I got to fix it. I'm working on it. If I start giving you BS excuses, those are red flags. And that means I don't have it all together. And I understand that how that can be off-putting to a woman. It could be, because for me, I'm looking at a red flags from a woman, and I could see a woman looking at me, and if things ain't thinking, math ain't mathin', bro's giving excuses, and it's looking like very much unstable with the guy.
I hear you still. To be fair, with the Corvair situation, I think I think on this particular occasion, I've said this, she was no different to Blake in terms of her attitude. She's rude, she's condescending, and she met her match in Blake. Okay, he don't give a shit, she don't give a shit, and that's why Blake rubbed her the wrong way. That's her mirror. I think her standards are absolutely fine. If you want to have standards, absolutely have those standards. I want to let lady out there know it's absolutely brilliant to have standards. There's a time when you're asked what your standards are, answer them. Fantastic. She's given her standards unprovoked. and like unprovoked to the point where she adds extra on top of what needs not to be added. If you don't like somebody, if you want someone to have their own home, I agree. If that's the point that you're at in your life, fantastic. You want a man that has his own home. That's where you leave it at. When you add the extra commentary, it gives elitist vibes. It gives you your condescending. It gives that you look down on people. And this is the kind of energy that you're going to present in your relationship too. And as a man, I'm gonna tell you straight. I think as a man, there are men who can handle this kind of stuff. But I always say they're a particular type of man. If you're a man that wants peace sensibly in your life, this is not the kind of energy you want to be having. Because trust me, that's gonna come out. Right? It's that elitist energy is going to come out, and it will soon be on you. So, and then I don't want to hear nothing about 10 years down the road that you're divorced and you know what, she took me for my money. I don't care. I won't care. I don't even coming on here, going on red pill, saying women are this when you heard all the energy she gave you from beforehand. Is these little comments that let you know about someone's mindset towards you. And you can't ignore that. You can't call it, oh no, do you know what? It's just her. It is just her. And so you decided to wife it and marry it. Now we're in a situation you're in. You know what I mean? Don't turn around and be complaining modern woman, modern this, modern that. Nothing of the sort. So again, standards are fine, but just like in this episode, I think the way that she's presenting herself and the way she's delivering certain things is going to hurt her in the dating world. She will get a man because she's pretty enough. I'm sorry, it is what it is. She's pretty enough. She'll get a man. What type of man is the question? She may be lucky. And I want people to understand this. In this world, sometimes people are lucky. She may be lucky and find the most brilliant man who can accept her for everything. The reality is most of us get what we put out into the atmosphere, right? And so, you know, even that conversation with Mark Anthony, and see where said it, she was sharp. She could have seen this as an opportunity for her. You know what I mean? And talking about the spoiling aspect, the mere fact you have to mention the spoiling aspect so early on before you even got to know the person is just like I said about Febreze. You're making people feel like you're about to use them for this particular aspect. And I think Sean said it earlier on too. Everybody wants to be wooed, right? You know, if I come out and say I want to have sex with you, it's a bit crude. But if I wine and dine you with the mindset that I want to have sex, then somebody feels like, well, I got wined and dined, you know, it was romantic, or whatever, it was cute. There's a story to it. And it's the same thing with this, with finances too. You want to get a guy with the money, there's a wooing process to this. Woo the person. And then you let and your standard, if your standard is you carry that as a DNA. You know, you need not to say it because you wear it, you live it, you breathe it, you eat it. It's all about what you're about. So it need not be announced. So her announcing it is just giving more prominence to it, which is making somebody feel like, you know what, you might be a bit of a gold digger. You know what, you might, you might be someone who just wants to take me from my wallet. And maybe that is your prominence. And maybe me even saying this is even adding dark arts. But keep quiet and move with it instead of saying it out loud because it's making you a target in this particular situation. And it's making you look like you have a very bad mindset and attitude. And that's a lot of turn off for a lot of men if they're smart. But there's a lot of men that are also dumb who will definitely take this on board. And then in 10 years' time will become crying on my internet, telling me about Kevin Samuels, about how divorce is shitty. And really and truly, they saw the red flags and didn't want to believe the red flags. I don't want to hear nothing from you men when you lot complain and say that girl was trash when you saw the red flags. Okay? We can't complain. We can't ask women to stop complaining too when they miss the red flags as well. We all got to take accountability. It's an accountable world. In 2023, we are eradicating the delusion. Okay? She has told you who she is, what she's about. We're eradicating the delusion. If you decide to go for it, good luck. I'm going to pat you on the back and say, bro, I don't think it's for you. But if you go for it, you got to handle it. But don't come crying to me with a story because you saw it from before. It is what it is. We're eradicating all the what? All delusion this year. 2023, baby. All right, cool. Any final thoughts? Because I think we pretty much covered the whole of this episode. Anything else that was...
Did I miss... We talked about Patrice, right? Patrice.
Febreze. we did talk about it, but you weren't here, so go for it. If you want to talk about Febreze quick, go for it. Because we spoke about it in the beginning, but give us your sentiments.
Oh man, I just think it was overplayed. That's all. You know, and I'm sure knowing how I know the panelists, everybody kind of dived in, but I just thought that, you know, it was overplayed for him to continue pushing that narrative. You know, around what he was looking for sexually, and he needs the women to be open to sex. And it's almost like he is baiting the ladies, because in his confessional, he was like, yeah, I always do that just to see if they get uncomfortable or squeamish. It was kind of like Harvey Weinstein-ish, you know, a little creepy, a little cringy. And I'm not sure why he needed to do that. But then I also understood the element of the fact that, you know, he mentioned he spent a lot of time in France. And I know that, you know, listen, the French and European culture is very much different than ours. But I still know, I'm sure they know what cringy looks like too. And it kind of came off to me cringy. Like, why you got to just go in? Even, who was the other guy? Michelangelo? I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. What's the ladies like? He has like one of those Greek names. Mark Anthony. There you go. I couldn't get the Greek person correct. Yeah. So, you know, even he said it was like, it's like he couldn't even get in there with the questions with him and all the sex talk. So I just want him to just relax, fall back a little bit. The same thing like the advice that I would have given to a Corvaya. You know, you're going to have to get to know a woman a little bit more than just first introduction. Hello, shake your hand. Are you sexual? If you are somebody that is sexual and has success with women, then you know that 9 times out of 10, it's not going to come that way. Right? So just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, he gave Predator a little bit.
Yeah, but see what he did though, it was very smart in his mind about what he did, because he's hoping to talk about all these excursions, all these trips and everything, and have the women envision themselves on these trips, all this traveling. So he's painting the picture, is what he's doing, of everything he's gone through, and he's hoping that he's casting a net and hoping that he catches somebody. Now, for me, I think that Mercedes almost got caught up with that, because she wasn't paying attention to what he was saying. She loved his voice, his accent, and all that stuff. So he's giving you all of that, you know.
And Sue-Ann.
Yeah,
and Sue-Ann. I don't know if you remember her. She's a whole attorney, Sue-Ann.
Oh yeah. Sue-Ann
She was moved by his mess too, but I think
So
it's also
Corvaya.
Huh?
So was Corvaya. She was over there talking about some stuff too.
Because people like Sue-Ann and them and Mercedes too. I think she does the interior designer. It's something where she works with people who probably got some coin. They're able to recognize, you know, who got money in the room. So it wasn't a surprise to me that they were able to figure out that Febreze wasn't just talking. He clearly appears to have money for real. And they know that a lot of people, the rest of them, probably don't.
Why do you call that man Febreze? Like,
isn't that his name? What is his name?
Febreze.
Oh, I really thought his name was
Febreze. Call him Febreze.
So yeah.
I'm just cracking up because everybody got a different name. Like even in the comments, is really was taking me out. They didn't call Corvaya Corvette.
Corvana.
Somebody call her Corvana.
Yeah, Corvana.
That's why you got to be careful how you name your child. You know what I'm saying?
I did. I call her Corvana in my video, and I just kept saying it.
That's right, Corey. You
I kept messing it up. But,
you got to be careful how you name your child and how you spell your child's name, like Dante.
Yeah.
Well, that man is Febreze from here on out, because I ain't stopping at no
Fabuloso.
Febreze is too hard for me to stop. He just need to be Febreze.
Man,
well, listen, I jacked up the other guy's name. What did I call him? His name is Mark Anthony. I called him something else. So listen.
Febreze is definitely being
Michelangelo.
Febreze is definitely being fresh with the ladies.
It's too fresh.
Febreze had to give us a whole geography lesson. He had to tell us where he came, where he going.
Hey,
Haiti is in the Caribbean. I'm like, I hope people knew that, but I guess
he is Haitian who has lived in Paris, but also from the Caribbean. So, in case you guys did not know,
well, Haiti is the Caribbean.
Yeah, but in case you didn't know,
he was smooth. He played that so clean.
so like he can rock it Montpellier all the way back to Haiti and back to Florida, and he's good.
But listen,
But
like
I think the exotic accent, that's what's gonna be his main allure, the way he speaks, the way he says things, because sometimes the accent go a lot further in some cases, right? But he definitely isn't 44. He's like 64 or something.
and who is that was impressed when he started speaking French? Because he hit him with the French.
Mercedes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that was
Je ne sais
Mercedes,
quoi.
right? Yeah, because once he said that, she was done.
She said, "Je ne sais quoi." And she was like, "Ooh."
He said another phrase though. He said something in the middle.
No, he said something. He said
in the
something
middle.
else.
That's what.
He said
Because
like
that je ne sais quoi, savoir faire. Those are regular words.
I know.
But
He
hit it
just
with
said the
the
simplest.
pop, pop,
He had a little patois on her. He had a little patois on her.
Sean say he hit her with the basics. He still got it.
Yeah.
Nah, he hit her with some other expression because I know a little French now.
He
the
hit her with
expression
patois.
that he
He
dropped
hit her with
was,
the Haitian French. He hit her with the Haitian French.
No, he hit her with straight French. That was French. That wasn't Creole. When he said that expression, because it's one I've heard before, but I don't know. I'm not gonna even try to pretend up here and duplicate what he said. But it wasn't like savoir faire or je ne sais quoi. It was like about
he watched E Bayou and he quoted the mama on E Bayou. That's all he said. He quoted the mama on E Bayou.
Somebody speaks French that's watching this right now. So y'all go ahead and clarify what he said. I know one of y'all, at least two of y'all.
Yeah, somebody in there said he did hit her with really milieu. Thank you, Logan. That's what he was talking, milieu, which is in the middle. That's what he was, when he was talking about relationship dynamics, he used that phrase. So
come on, interpreter. Come on, Sean.
That's in the comments, Logan.
Because I told y'all got to use your resources. I knew a few of them speak French. Somebody
listen, I speak a little. Je parle français un peu, but that dude.
See, there's more translation. See, there we go.
Give him a little more, Sean. Give him a little more.
Not the macaroni au gratin.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Les pickles.
Je porte chon. Comment allez-vous?
In the middle.
Mademoiselle.
There we go.
There you go. That's it.
That's our French lesson for the day. That's our French lesson for the day right there.
Y'all mad out here.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Y'all done threw me off.
Corey, we're gonna finish off your point. Corey, finish your point.
Man, I don't even know where I was. We all started talking. I don't even know where I was. I was saying, with him casting that net to kind of try to see if we can find someone else. I think Mercedes, was kind of in that loop of being casted in because he was saying the French stuff like Sean was saying, and just pretty much lazy. Like, gotta be aware of guys like that. Like certain things that men are saying. It can be seen as game, and it'd be seen as like the truth. And that was pure game we was trying to spit. But I heard it and I saw it. That's all.
Oh, I was gonna say that Mercedes. You know how many clients that he could put her on with for her to do interior design and all that stuff that she do? She know what she's doing. She gonna make a friend if she don't do nothing else. Even if it work out.
Mercedes is the flight attendant.
Not Mercedes, Morgan. I'm Morgan.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, so who likes him? Was it Mercedes or Morgan?
Mercedes.
Oh, the F that. I don't know why she tripping. She needs to stick with Mark Anthony.
Yeah, MA.
My bad.
All right now. Okay. Well, listen. We're going to bring the show to an end just underneath that 3-hour mark. Fantastic. Good timing, guys. Listen, guys, it's been great. We're back with a bang for Ready to Love. We're back here same time next week. Well, not same time, much earlier last week. I was asleep. I ain't going to lie to you. After my flight this morning, I was asleep. In fact, if Sean hadn't called me, I'd have been asleep some further. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I was in a sunken place. But yeah, we'll be back next week at an appropriate time. I believe at start at 8 o'clock. We'll do again 2-3 hours for Ready to Love on Saturday. Sunday night, I believe we're doing it 5 p.m. EST. I'm going to do it a little bit earlier so people can go about their business during the course of the evening as well. So we'll be on it for 2 hours, I think, max for the men's talk. So men's panel. What we're going to do for 2023 is the men's panel is going to influence what happens on a Tuesday. So the men's panel will start on Sunday. We'll have a topic. And then on Tuesday, we do the invite to all so the ladies can come in, give us their point of views as well. Have a much more open-ended conversation as well. So Sunday nights are going to be for the men's panel. Tuesday nights, we're going to be having our open panel for both men and women to come on, have a conversation. I believe Sunday's topic is, can we tell women the truth? So it's going to be one of those conversations. You guys are actually having it in the middle of this kind of live today. So we're going to have more of that conversation on Sunday for the men, 5 p.m. EST time. And then on Tuesday night, we're going to open it up so the ladies can also give us their point of view with the men as well, conversation. So can we tell women the truth? And then on Tuesday night, we'll have, can we tell men and women the truth? You know what I mean? Who can tell the truth to who? All right, cool. And then on Thursday night, because, you know, I said I'm going to be dedicated this year. Thursday night, we have 2 lives going. For an hour, we have Sisters going on. Some of you guys wanted me to do Sisters, so we'll do a live on Sisters. If you watch it, fantastic. You can give us your say. And then after that, we'll be on Married at First Sight, talking about the latest season, which I'm not going to lie to you, I'm kind of excited. Kirsten is moving mad and I love it. Okay, I can't hate. As I said, if the guys don't find a woman attractive, I don't be hating. If she doesn't find old boy attractive, I cannot get on her neck now. Okay, but we're going to talk about some real stuff. All right, so action-packed week coming ahead for you guys. And there's some more great stuff coming as well. If you haven't already joined the Patreon, join in, get involved in the conversations on the side, have a laugh, have a banter, get involved with the community. And for those of you who obviously haven't done so already, make sure you like it, you share, you subscribe. But before I go, Sean, do what you do best. Give us the benediction. I almost forgot. The Lord had to remind me. Leaving without the benediction, sir. Go for it, Sean. First one of the year.
All right. So listen, 2023, I think we kicked it off very well. Love to be in everyone's midst. Kojo, welcome back from Ghana. I thought we lost you for a second. I thought you was going to tell us this is where you're going to be full time. But yeah, so look, folks, we had a great discussion tonight. I think what we learned from Ready to Love, if you're ready to love, there's nothing wrong with stating what you want, but there is everything wrong with demanding and demeaning, right? There's nothing wrong with saying what you prefer, what you would like, what you're looking for, but don't demand and don't demean. I think we should be respectful of each other, because in love, there is respect. In love, there is patience. In love, there is kindness. And when we lack those things, we lack love. Right. So if that's what we really are looking to do, then that's what we need to be giving out. Right. We give out respect. We give out understanding. Right. And then reciprocity. Right. I think that was another thing that we learned tonight from some of the folks. Right. You can want what you want, but what are you willing to give? Right? What do you have to offer in that relationship? And it's not going to be the same thing. And it's not going to be what you think you should do, but what is going to be of value to the person you want to be with, right? And that's the most important part, right? We love how the person we love wants to be loved, and vice versa. And back to you, Coach.
Much appreciation, Sean. Thank you so much for the benediction. As always, thank you to my panelists, JR, Corey, Sean, Seaway, Jay. Listen, audience members, don't forget to follow them as well. Follow them on their various social media networks, JR XTVs on Instagram. Follow Black Made Media, Corey, on Instagram, and also on YouTube as well. I can see you're back on the grind as well, sir. So it's good to have you. Sean, follow him on IG. Make sure you guys follow Sean Davis 120. That's also his I should say, cash app. Okay, don't forget to bless the brother when he gives the benedictions. Okay, Seaway's World. Follow her on TikTok as well, guys. Seaway, what's your TikTok? I forgot. Is your TikTok the same name? Mr. Yo 22 on TikTok. Fantastic. Follow Jay Another Round on YouTube. You can also follow her on Instagram as well by that name as well. So make sure you guys are following them, showing them love and appreciation as well. But listen, guys, you know what? It's going to be an interesting 2023. We're going to have some really interesting conversations in the next few months going forward. I'm looking forward to not only the men's panel, but also the open panel where you guys get to come on and say as well. So it's going to be a very, very interesting time in the next few months. Okay, so keep sending me some of the videos you guys have been sending me ahead of time as well to try and review them. I'm gonna be on it. So if you not see a lot of videos coming out this month, I'm broke. That's why. All right. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again very, very soon. Much appreciation. We're back here tomorrow night for the men's panel.